You need a minute? All right, Joe's needs a minute here. He always gives me a rough time when I don't. The other day when I didn't even, you're throwing to me and my mic fell off, and I heard Joe mention like this guy's got 3 hours to get his mic ready, and we didn't have it there. So his share is going down in Katina Wilson Capital, right there. Hey, don't show Joe on screen yet, man. He's not ready yet. He's not ready yet. Joe, make sure you got this the black thing over to white.
It's very complicated,
right there, Joe.
Always.
You need to make sure that happens there. But there he is. He's Mr. Worldwide. There's Mr. Worldwide. We like that one. All right. You might think that's Pitbull, but it's not. It's Joe. And he's getting ready to go with the professor. So get ready to learn some lessons. It's the midday show. It's the best one we've got.
Small cappers.
And it is Sharif, and it is Joe. See you till 2 o'clock.
You know what's running today, Joey?
What is it, Ford?
No.
Oh.
You know what that one is?
What is it?
You remember this ticker? Don't look at the name.
Oh.
What's the name of the you can look at the ticker, but just don't look at the name.
It's Fat Pipe, no?
Oh, yes, my man. There he goes. Let's say hello to everybody, Joey. Because I'm going to be saying that a lot today. A lot of innuendos. That's kind of innuendo in your endo. Oh. Hello, greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That is your boy, Joey Options. I'm Sharif. I hope nobody heard that. We got.
What do you mean no one heard that?
They're busy migrating over from the other stream, Joey. Right. We got Crazy Z Plays. What's going on, Hangry Wife? Shanna Banana, love the name. That's a new name. I do like that, Shanna Banana. Get it, Shanna. Mike White, Outlaw Trader. We got Cade Rayner, Traveling Trading Tony. Love the name. Thanks, Casual. Pillsbury. Oh, I haven't seen you in a minute, man. I think he got it. Miami Dragon, Mike PD Rider. Britt Brandon and King Clutch, Jack of Art. We got Taylor. We got Mr. Janky Stock. And the OG Bhavin frickin' Patel, a.k.a. I've been getting it a lot right lately. Shout out to my man, GT3 Rob. Shout out to Tariq, Oslam, Chris Compost. I like that. He's environmentally friendly, John.
All right.
Lori, we got JMTU and StockEd 983 and Gamecraft, Nico, Manic, R. The G is back. I like that. Trig Trades and Randy Worm. Shout out to Harry Styles. And yeah, I know. I thought that too. But one more, Joey. We're going to say Mr. Jones Speaks. Up, Gunners. We got this Saturday, 12 o'clock, Juan. Champions League final. Slightly favored is Paris Saint-Germain, but I think they concede a lot of goals. Arsenal don't. So let's see how this cookie crumbles. Good morning, brother.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, there goes the NASDAQ putting in a new high of the day in the SPY, guys. DRAM leading the way, putting in a new HOD. Man, oh man, I just want to get involved with this, but there's zero chance that your boy is going to be chasing it all the way up there. Now, we have some news in regards to Zuck & Company looking to get into the paid tier system on Instagram. All right, so we've seen that we started to enter that gap. Let's pull up the daily here so we can actually see what we're looking at before we get into the actual trade itself. So we had a strong session.
I actually subscribe to that, by the way. They like this Instagram Plus or some crap.
How much did I run you?
Well, it's a free month free.
And then?
Yeah, 5 or 6 or something like that.
$100?
Yeah.
Thanks, man. How about that? You Meta holder?
Am I know? You know I sold.
Yeah.
You don't even get anything, SSC. You know, you can like preview the stories and stuff like that. It's lame.
Hey, listen, man. He's obviously, he needs to start scraping the bottom of the barrel. We see the headline that you mentioned to me this morning. But hey, we enter this gap, right? I mean, after this break, let's see if we were going to get any form of continuation. This just might be a breath day. I think it's going to be like a 3 or 4 bar play, and then we're going to continue and fill up the majority of this. Anyways, moving forward, figured at some point, considering near the end of the day, session was strong, we would have buyers step in. It took us a couple opportunities to get this one going, 2 to be exact. First one, we get stopped out, but then look at this Deontay Wilder move right here, 26.90 all the way up to 27.30s. We hold before we take anything off. We partial 50%, and there's this boom, 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 all the way up to the top, and we leave a little bit of a runner, 5% there. It did get a pop, but what happened? We established a lower high, so that is my green light. I couldn't hold it anymore. We get out the break even on that free roll, and you can see that we're continuing to slide here, and we have consistent lower highs, all right? So there it is. That's what we have. That was the only trade. That was the reload over here. So that one, we take one loss, we take one. We're green on the day, nothing to write home about. Now, good thing I sold a little bit of I was telling Katina, man, I'm sitting on some cash here now. Good thing I sold some IBIT right at the lows today, 41.10. That feels really good. I don't know if you can feel the sarcasm in my voice there, but this is what we had on the radar. DRAM, Meta, and IBIT. Obviously, we keep the SPY and the NASDAQ in the corner of our eye as this bull flag is coming into fruition. Boom, nice move, consolidative base, and then you're forming these consistent higher lows. And then off to the races you go, putting in a new high of the day. Let's see if we can get buyers to start stepping back in here in META. DRAM is the story that just keeps on winning. I feel like you can't lose at this point on this one, obviously being sarcastic there, because there will be some point you will lose, but it doesn't seem to be right now as the memory storage plays are continuously in play here, Sri.
All right, Joey. Who remembers this one? FATN. Mr. Fat Pipe is in the house, and it's up 60%. Much like it was last time around, it is awfully spready for a small cap gapper now, ranging in the range of 5 pennies. But this displeases me greatly because the volume, look at that, opening up to 19 pennies. Yeah, that ain't going to be the move for me, man. So we'll watch. We'll see exactly what the situation is on FATN. But yes, I see VCIG, Bovin. There's a whole bunch of other ones moving. I want to talk about AIM because this one was a holdover from yesterday. The Amex network, AIM on the Amex. It just went green on the day and it's ripping. Okay, so just got about 40 pennies. It's ripped into 44 and 0.8 pennies, but hey, that's a lot for this one. 9.7% was just trading negative, in fact, on the day. There was a lot of resistance, too, at 40 for some weird reason. That's why. It was yesterday's closing print, so it couldn't shake the sellers in and around that area. Alas, it is trading at the highs, and here comes 50 pennies. 44.59 right now showing up on the tape. Let's keep a close eye on this one. AIM, the ticker, up 11 now and trading on the MX network. Now let's talk about the trades that I've got on. Bro, are you serious? How are you not going to fill me on that, man?
Bro.
I know, man. It's
Did it
tough.
touch? Is that maybe a dark pool wiki?
No, it's real. It's real. It's just you didn't quite make it down long enough. But BRTX in this position, this is feeling awfully flat top breakish through 50 pennies. So we're going to see how this cookie crumbles. I've layered some orders there, liquidity testers. I wish I got that 47.5 print. Alas, it didn't come in. And then I'm in Mask On. Oh, I think we're going to probably say that.
Who sings that one?
I forget it. Not Offset. What's his name? Some Future.
Come on,
That's it.
Man.
I did know that though. Hey, my man. See, comes in clutch, not like you. But there you go.
Oh, that's crazy, bro.
All right, so we're in Mask right now. Mask is a little consolidative, though. Some support at 4.25. The wicks do breach 4.25, though. They go all the way down to 4.10. This one just price spiked up into the mid-60s. I'm waiting for 1R at 75. So if I don't get that, I get stopped out. It's simple as that. We're just going to pack the patience. But guys, AIM is running. It's through 45 now, 45.5. It's decidedly green, double digits up on the day. So let's keep a close eye on this one. Lele is in Mask. What's the story? Lele, you know I don't really care about the stories on these small cap gappers unless there's a real specific reason why I should be looking at the story, like a multi-day hold or a multi-day runner. I don't really know, and I don't really care. Who else? Commodity King says LAES. Let's look at that one super quick. Good call out, man. Not a big 4 or 5% thereabouts, but trading into the high of the day. Something to look out for there. So that's what we've got on right now. Mask is completely undecided. It could fail. It could pop. That's just the nature of this particular trade. We're in a very consolidative area, and it looks like the shorts, at least for the moment, they feel like they might be in control here. If we lose the the 11 a.m. bar low, which is at 418.5, I stop out. But there's others. So we mentioned Fat Pipe. We also mentioned AIM and BRTX. We said very little about Codex, and I'm not referring to the vibe coding software by the now kind of crappy ChatGPT. Side note, I'm doing my peptides research. We've spoken about this.
We have.
Went into chat. refuses to answer questions about peptides.
No way.
Guess who actually gives you good information?
Claude.
Who would have thought? I thought that that was the nerdy one, and the one that was supposed to be so protective and guardrailed. Really?
Yeah.
Feels like it might be changing of the guard here, quite frankly.
Well, I think that changing of the guard has been going over the past.
Not in the sense of revenue generation. You're absolutely right. Changing in the guard into which one is the babysitter, right? That says no. You don't know what you're doing. I need to look out for you here, right? I mean, I don't need to be babysat.
It's kind of been the narrative as Sam Altman's image continues to be tarnished. I feel like week after week, day by day.
I just don't like chat. Like, forget about Sam. Sam, we know what happened with that whole thing. But I gotta tell you, I'm liking chat a lot less daily. I'm not really loving this mask trade either. Look, it's not failing on the 5 quite yet, but it does feel a little top heavy. What I think I'm seeing is higher lows, but I'm seeing more aggressive lower highs than I am seeing decent higher lows. So this one does feel like a flat bottom break, possibly coming in here at around 420. The buyers are stepping in at 420. I don't like this anymore. I'm taking it out here for a small loss. And as I do that, it fails, and it fails immediately upon taking it out. You can just smell this one coming from a mile away. Look at that failure. That's a big save there for the daily P&L. Watch out for support at 4. Moreover, the 10 EMA on the 5 is a little bit below the support at 4, sitting high 80s, low 90s. Be on the lookout for a possible move there. People are yelling about Joby, and I see Joby, and I look, oh my God, I'm not that much out of the money anymore. Oh my days. This one took a while. But hey, man, maybe Joby today, BMNR tomorrow. Those are the two positions that I'm still out of the money on.
What else do you want to throw on the list for the day after tomorrow?
Out of the money position?
Yeah.
Nothing, because I'm not out of the money on anything else.
Oh, snap.
That's the way it is.
That's crazy.
Shout out to my man, Jesse Hernandez. Martinez there. Oh, bro. We love you,
crazy.
Jesse. Yo, he's the biggest troll, bro. You can't take the heat. You stay out of the kitchen, my guy, right?
Get hot up in that kitchen, boy. You know what his nickname is?
What is it?
Commodus.
What?
Commodus. Do you know who Commodus is?
You set me up for failure every time, my guy. I fail a lot around here, man. Let me just hit the fail at myself there.
Yeah, Jesse's my guy. He's got a good sense of humor. Yeah, I heard some of the stuff he says is just right down my alley. All right, man. You're good over there. Wendy and comment. Yeah, Chris Onion, what's going on? I seen Blicky Spears. Haven't seen you in the chat a couple of days. And also for Mike P. the Rider, where you been at, man? Are you still? I think this guy's still in recovery mode from the moment.
I saw him this morning. He's right there,
yeah,
man.
But he's usually typing up a storm with multiple accounts and just has the preloaded messages and everything else going on. All right, guys, let's head over. And where's Luis? Luis,
it's summer now, brother.
Oh, okay.
You gotta understand how the Europeans function.
Yeah, they're out of there. All right, guys. That'd be nice.
Yeah, they don't care.
All right, guys, let's see. ONDS here, not looking too bad. Starting to form this bull flag. This could be a potential for some form of continuation here today. If we get a liquidity grab south of this 1263 level, and then we break this trend, then off to the races we can go. But I may as well keep my eye on what's been working for us. We do have this steady downtrend that started at approximately 10:30 this morning. So, 45 minutes later, are we going to be able to crack and sit on the back end of this? And this is what I want to...
Why are you laughing? What happened, Joey?
Cracked, and it's all right, man. And have a candle open up over here. I don't even want to see what the chat
AKTX is Bovin.
Is it going? Okay, I got to listen to what Bovin has to say.
Yeah, Bovin needs to be, he needs to be kept on watch.
Does he have a highlight on that one? I'm glad that no one really caught what I just said there. But I don't know. How do you feel about it? This is a therapeutic thing, but there's no liquidity there. You know you see what I'm saying there? What are you laughing at?
What am I looking at, man?
Oh, you're going on AIM?
We're ripping right now, Joey. I'm busy printing.
And all right, so hold on. Give me a minute there. We could go over AIM. I'm going to aim my focus right now on something else here. AIM Immunotech as it's continuing to climb, breaking through some of these pre-market zones in yesterday's levels. Let's head over to this watch list before we send over to Sharif.
That's fine.
Come on, like we're waiting for this meta trend line to break, and then I think we can definitely start rocking and rolling. But what has RGTI been up to? Oh, it's putting up another solid day. Sharif's yelling at me this morning. He's like, bro, right at the open, why don't you just punch into forward? Like,
show him the chart, Joey.
Bro, I'm showing him the chart.
Show him the chart, how
I'm like,
pops up every single day for the past week. It doesn't even wick down.
Okay, tomorrow I'm gonna do it tomorrow, and we're gonna see where that leads us. It's probably gonna have the heftiest down day. I mean, but hey, it is what it is. DRAM doing his thing, and then we're also struggling here on this. I was almost swore right there, but NVDA still downward pressure. 1, 2, 4 days in a row, and if we're gonna go back a little bit in history, 6 of its last 8 trading sessions red. Like, come on, man, what kind of nonsense is that? Let's start to find our way here on NVDA, my brother.
Yes, sir. All right, shout out to Crazy something or another there. What did I say? Crazy Plays. Apparently, I made the guy some money, man. $400. I don't know which stock you were trading, but good on you. I hope you continue to print up multiple storms on your side of the screen. That's what we're doing this for. All right, here's the deal. We're involved in a couple of names. We're still holding BRTX. We still haven't gotten that ad. I perceive flat top resistance here in and around 50 pennies. It's a little bit lower, so I'm building a position for a flat top break. It's not up big, it's up 12 3/4, but it looks like a pretty good pattern. Involved in AIM, and there it goes through 48. I actually have better than 46 pennies. I have 45 and change. And I know that's grasping at straws, but man, when you're trading these penny stocks, every penny literally makes a difference, obviously, right? So looking for 49 next, then we're looking for 50. Decent position here on AIM. Now, guys, this one started off pretty negative. In fact, when I sat down at the desk, we were below yesterday's closing print, which is 40 pennies, looks to be 40 pennies on the dot. And now it's ripping. It is almost 9 pennies clear to that. So you can do the percentage move there. Fantastic. That's about 20% here on the day in the Ville of Green. So something to look out for. But guys, I need to bring your attention to apps. Bovin always distracts me with these calls. NCTL halted up. NTCL. Let's just look at this quickly. Great call, Bovin. NTCL, big halt up. That replaces the other one on the bottom right. We're going to throw in the ticker there. Kills me, bro. I love Assassino, man. NTCL halted up, but I want to bring your attention to APPS. This is also looking really good. Multi-day runner now. We were looking at this one yesterday. It was actually running previous days aftermarket. Ripped yesterday. Continues to rip today. Taking out yesterday's high, which is around 760. New high of the day, 809. Above 8 right now. Trying to stay above 8. There's a bit of a dance here between buyers and sellers at the $8 level. So something to be alive to. So there's a lot running, guys. NTCL's halted at $1.08. We're going to have to look at that. Apps is ripping. Ford, it looks okay. I'm not really inclined to do anything with that. But Fat N as well, I want to mention a bit of a pullback here. 807 dropping back down to 7.5 here. Above the 10 EMA, something to look out for. Could be a good area of support. So what we're waiting for next, Joey, is a 49 print possibly here on AIM. Then we're looking for 50. We get that aces. If we don't, we don't. And then we're looking for about a 50 penny flat top break here on BRTX.
All right, good stuff, Jesse. I know you're lying.
NTCL is open. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just have to cover this. NTCL is open. It's ripping into new highs, Bovin. What is this one that you found? $1.15 high. The volume is coming in fast and furious. We've almost done 13 million shares on the day. Look for $1 support. If it doesn't hold the dollar, I think we're going to go down. But here comes, we're probably going to hit 1.25 here. 117, that's the high, pulling back a little bit into 13s. Look for 1.25 and look for support at 1. Sorry to interrupt you.
It's all right, man. Yeah, Jesse, I know you lying now still.
What up?
No, you said he's saying he remains unsubbed. But I'm like, you can't write in the chat unless you're subbed, my brother. Come on, you can't.
That's cap.
You know what George Bush once said?
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
You have the option to like and subscribe. This trade has unlimited upside. And
you can't fool me again.
You can't fool me again, man. That's crazy, the amount of hair that guy had there. Anyways, all right, let's see what we got. We're going to take another attempt here on...
Your own doing, bro.
FBR. It's not. It's actually the hair gods who said, you know what? No, that's it. You be stressing too much, my boy. We're gonna take that away from you. But here it is, guys. 27.20. Let's see if we can finally get this trend line break on FBL Meta. We have it. We're sitting on the backside of this one. Stop putting the turkey flag in the chat, guys. That's crazy.
Yo, I'm seeing all sorts of different surgeries coming out of there.
Dude, I can go down the road and get it if I wanted to.
There's hair, obviously. There's nose. There's height.
Yeah, you can get those legs.
What the hell is going on?
You get those legs done.
Do you know how long it takes to recover from that? I had to go down.
A couple of years.
Bro, who's gonna go through that kind of thing?
If you're young, if you're young, I could see, but not like.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Here it is. We're sitting. I think a lot of people do it. I don't see any issue if you're in your early 20s.
Years? Though?
Yeah, man.
2 years out of your life? I don't know, man.
Yeah, but then for the rest of your life, you know what I mean? Hey, there's got to be some sacrifice on some form of gain there, Sharif. Let's see. If we crack the low of the day on META, then we just get out of this one and maybe we try to find something else and head over to small cap Landia and try to find some momentum plays. Right now, Meta is not it. And we're going counter trend, but we do have a trend line break. So there's no reason for me to not engage on this one. I think Neil would like it. But the momentum is most definitely to the downside here as we didn't establish a higher high, right? This is a lower high is not very good, but hey, a steady momentum or a steady move lower, and then now we're starting to head it on the backside of things with the NASDAQ at the high of the day and the SPY not too far away. Now, I want to take a look at what JPM's up to. I know some of the financials are, it's like, I don't even understand what JPM's doing right now, nor am I going to try to wrap my head around it because it just won't make any sense. And that way, you will be taking trips to Turkey. It's just how the narrative is, man, as it's going back south of $300, right? Like we popped up to 310, but it's not finding any form of momentum and not very much of a liking right now. As for the dividend, you get $1.50. You know I'm always going to be keeping a look at that. You don't want to chase yield necessarily either, so keep that in mind, guys. Marathon Digital, you know what I believe could be a good potential play here is, I mean, if we're talking about Meta heading into the cloud space, you have a rotation. So these guys already have the infrastructure established, and I'm referring to the Riots of the world, the Maras and some of these other Bitcoin miners. If you have the infrastructure and you're just doing a rotation into Neo Cloud and cloud services, I think it's good, and that's why you've seen some of these names outperform Bitcoin itself. Bitcoin has just been absolutely garbage, and I talked about the fact that if we don't bounce relatively soon, and this was a couple of days ago, you're gonna start to crack a lot lower, all right? And that's been the narrative. Trendline break, and then off to the races. You have a head and shoulder pattern right here. This is almost textbook, if you ask me. Shoulder one, shoulder two, head. Break of the support level, and now you're heading lower with momentum. Throughout this run here, we never had any of those outsized days. And what do I mean by that? I'm talking about the 7, 8, 9, and even 10% sessions in Bitcoin. As soon as that broke, I'm like, you know what? It's not it right now, and that's exactly why I decided to sell and reduce my position. I'm still in it, but I would rather rotate that cash into something that I have a little bit more confidence in than sit in this, and I'm just gonna say it how it is, dead money right now. Am I gonna be wrong in a year or so? Probably, but I still have a lot of exposure within this space. I'm just reducing it because what am I gonna hold on to it? Right now I'm sitting on opportunity cost, and I don't want that. There's too many hot things in play right now, and nor am I gonna chase it, but I'm gonna wait for what's in vogue to fall into my lap.
That's crazy.
Not that, I don't think it's that crazy, man. I think it's a logical thing, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. I'm just kidding. I agree. All right, guys, continuing to hold BRTX, holding AIM. Those are the trades I'm looking at now. Speaking to Tisha in the chat, she's looking at Mask. I'm seeing an uninterrupted lower low, lower high on Mask. Alas, it is still holding above 4. It's still holding above the 10 EMA. But I concern myself with these type of trades. As I've mentioned many times, these prolonged downtrends, once they do get a breakout, recently, lately, it has ended up being a lower high. That is obviously trouble because the shorts earmark this, they target it into a lower high. And by lower high, I'm talking about not relative to the prior candle, I'm talking about area high. So for example, here on MASK, It's $5, essentially area high. Get the high of the day, it's 515, but the area rejection is 5. So we keep putting in lower highs all throughout. And then, lo and behold, we'll get this bid out of nowhere, right? Could be short covering, could be a bull or, you know, a fake bull getting you long to go along with him, a big account, goes up to 4.5. Then it'll reject 4.5. And it'll drop back down and then lose the prior bar low, which is so frustrating because you think you've got to move. And I've seen this a lot with these ones that have more prolonged downtrends. So something to be on the lookout for there, okay? So BRTX, we got the position. AIM right back into my entry, break even on this one now. It's still above the 10 EMA. I don't know how I feel about this. I think this 48.87 could be a rejection of essentially of the $0.50. So I'm going to keep a close eye on this one. But NTCL, holding the 10 EMA here, Bovin, holding VWAP as well. Now, it failed the dollar. So I'm kind of inclined to get in here and give it to 90 pennies. That's exactly kind of what I'm going to do here. Let's give this one an old look now. Let's see. It doesn't look as great anymore here. Let me just watch for a little bit. Let's see what it does. Let's see what kind of action we got on the tape over here on NTCL. Am I going to see more staunchy areas of resistance in this mid to low 90s, or what's the situation? So I just need to watch for a little bit because I wasn't watching this one on the book or the tape, just watching the chart. So it's still dropping here. Looks like there's some resistance locally at 95. Yeah, I don't think this one's ready to go yet. It might be about to lose the volume weighted average price and or the 10 EMA, which are basically overlapping. Yeah, good thing I insisted on watching. Look at this drop. It was at 95, now it's at 84. So yeah, good move here not to get into a trade. So I want to watch it a little bit more. So a bit of a tough one there on NCL. So we'll let that one go. Might lose a spot on the side chart momentarily here. But I'm starting to like the look of Fat Pipe's jib over here. Okay. And that is FATN, if you're wondering what I'm talking about. Looks like there's a lot of 740 support for whatever reason. Let's give this one the old community college try. JUCO tries. Your boy Johnny, I was about to say Johnny Ives. Joey Opsh likes to say. So where are we going to get? We're going to give it, yeah, let's go because a little bit lower. Okay, fine. That's fine there. Let's go ahead. And we're going to try and punch at the mid print here. So let's go, what's the mid print? Let's go 756, see if we can kind of get that. Nope, not giving it to me. Okay, that's fine. So we can just punch. There we go. So we're punching there, and then we got to give it to 7 1/3. So let's go just like that, and then we'll go all the way down. Because this one is a little bit spready, right? So it's going to need a little bit of room. Okay, so my 1R for Fat Pipe, 759 we got. So that makes my 1R 783. So let's go ahead and post an order right around there. See what we get. Won't get upset. Shout out to my man Neil, who's back in the house. So continuing to watch here, FATN, BRTX as well. Still waiting on Mask. Mask still unabated to the $4 area. So a lot of weakness still here on MASK.
What is DRAM doing, man?
What is it doing?
It's going nuts.
Up or down?
There's only one way this thing
It's up,
goes right
and it's
now.
up, and it's up, and it's up, and we're going Wadera up at the big desk.
It's interesting, these crypto equities are actually quite strong. I was just looking here at Coinbase for comparison's sake. This is at intraday highs here and continuing to climb. If you take a look at MSTR, not quite looking the same, so it seems like these names are not really trading as a group. But regardless, let's take a look here at Bitcoin BTC. We've talked the last couple days about this 74,000 level of support, that 78K level of resistance. 78K continues its resistance, but we broke that 74,000 support level as of today. It started this session, neared it yesterday, but did not breach it. We are now below 74K, currently near session lows here at around 72.8K. Now, in terms of things to watch for on a macroeconomic basis, interesting comments coming here from Ivan Patricki, who is the co-founder of QuantMap. This is a market analysis platform. And in his opinion, one of the biggest issues here is the price of oil. Apparently, oil above $95 could keep Bitcoin trapped on a macro level. So we're going to have to wait and see if this oil price Bitcoin correlation is anything of note. But either way here, BTC looking pretty weak on the daily chart. I'll flip over here to Ethereum, if I may, ETH/USD. ETH not looking great either here on this daily. But again, BTC, just the way we're continuing to fall from that October high should be noted. Back to you.
There goes Fat Pipe off 7.5 into the area high here of 82. I got the 82 print, but it's zigging and zagging here in the high 70s, low 80s. Now, mind you, I did see a couple of 90 prints there, or close to, on the ask side of the level 2, not quite. On the bid, continuing to watch here, 79s. I got 59s on, but we did wet the beak for 1R at 82, excuse me. Still looking for continuation here. I don't think there's anything for me to do other than watch it, fail, stop me out through 740 or rip through 8. We'll see how this cookie crumbles. Continuing to show high 70s resistance, low 80s. There's mid 80s. All right, but it always drops right back down. So the ask will move up into mid to high 80s, but no continuation. BRTX still showing me higher lows, okay? 47 area looks support. I'm in at 48.15. But I'm really earmarking this one for a possible flat top breakthrough half. It's not giving it to me, which is fine, so we'll pack the patience. AIM, how's this doing? That's a Fat Pipe, okay? Well, AIM right back into 47, looking for 49 now, but I have to bring your attention to Mask. Here comes Mask. So this is what I want to watch. Watch for a $0.50 resistance. I could be completely wrong on this, okay? But my bias is lower high, into 4.5, dropping into 4 1/3, buyer stepping in here at the third of a dollar. Let's watch, okay? I'm not taking this trade. I've just seen too much. If I miss it, I miss it, man. That's just the way it is. But I've seen a lot of these fail at a lower high. And I gave you the exact freaking level, too. I said $5, and it might be 4.5 that ends up rejecting. So continue to watch MASK. It's not a bad one. Certainly it's not a bad one. 220% on the day. Can't go wrong there. But just be on the lookout, okay? It could be a lower high. That's what I really want to stress to you guys. Watching Fat N. 88s now showing up on the bid. I'm waiting in the mid-90s, and then I'm waiting north of 8. So let's see how now we're starting to see 90 here show up on the ask, Joey. So Fat Pipe, continue to stair step up. Now it is a spready one, 9 pennies currently, 10 pennies there between the bid and the ask. So you may not get the fill that easily. So be strategic where you're putting your what's it called? Your profit taker, 79, 790 now showing up on the ask. I need a nice price spike up to get me involved in this one. So continue to watch Fat Pipe here, doing well on it, still holding.
All right, man, good stuff. We're in Ondas right now. There it is. That's the pop that we're looking for, my boy. Let's see if we can get a continuation. Hopefully it's just not a little pop-up through here and then fades right back in, but we want to see that momentum really start to kick in here on ONDS. If it fails, then we don't like it. What's going to fail right now and going to end the day for us trading this name until maybe later on in the session is going to be META if it doesn't start to pick up a little bit of its steam. The last thing that we want to do here is essentially give back our realized on trying the exact same thesis. If it's not going to work, you have to come to realization. There it is. Bless you, Neil, that it may not work for us. But ONDS with the high of the day break, that is that specific. I used to run this strategy back in the day, kind of abandoned it, but the way that it was just momentum, I'm like, you know what? What else are we here for? Let's see if we can get rocking and rolling and head into a new high of the day as we are just knocking on the door of that. Slightly punched through, but what we want to see is a hold of that specific level. We're going to wait until 30s if we're fortunate to get that. Volume kicked in. We had that uptick, but we don't want to see too much resistance as we are up 22% here in ONDS. There goes that hot garbage meta. We're going to get out of this. Yeah, man, it just
why, Joey?
Nuts, bro. All right, we're out of that bad boy. We're not like, hey, man, we're just chipping away at our gains here, and that's the last thing that I want to do because then that's when I get really frustrated. If it was up to me, obviously, we wouldn't be putting on any more size throughout the day, but that it is what it is, and we have to. FBL, I mean, there it is.
I mean, what are you going to do? We're on a 3-hour show.
Exactly, right? So, like, I just can't sit here. It's just like watching the flashing lights of the casino and just
flashing lights.
Yeah, exactly. So there it is, right? Good thing that we get out of that one. So we'll go 1 for 3 on this bad boy and still hold on to positivity. But if Ondas doesn't want to participate and cooperate, then we're going to have to get out of that one. We're not going to give back the majority of our day on a couple of errors. We're going to be patient, wait for some levels levels to come into our lap and then see if we can take advantage of them. But that pop, and then now you're starting to lock and drop it, is not too good of a look here on ONDS. Hopefully we can act what was prior resistance can come as support at that $13.10 marker. But if not, we take another little paper cut. And then with that being said, I've mentioned it multiple times now, we have to wait for a good opportunity to fall into our lap. I don't love what I'm seeing on the 5-minute candle here from ONDS, but what it can be, let me slow it down a little bit, there's no reason for us to rush, is a breath. So as long as that support level is held at $3.10, then we're gonna remain in this. Hopefully we can get buyers to step back in, break through, and we can continue the trend here on the day. How does it look from a daily? Really good. Right? We punch through resistance zones. We open up literally at the top end of the range, and then now we're off to the races. I'm not going to say we're going to head into $15 today, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the near future we hit those levels, because just on that trajectory, I've mentioned it before, and we're going to go through a couple examples once I find them, is that when you're on a path like this, there's something behind the scenes that says, hey, we're going to put price up here, and then we're going to head into some new price discovery on a couple of these smaller cap names. Even large cap.
That's a really good point, brother, especially with that price discovery part. Just throwing in Go ahead.
Yeah, man, there goes bang. That's what we want to see. We want to see these buyers really start to kick right back in. And I've seen the strength with on the tape. Here, you want to see it displayed, guys? Bang, look at the flushes. So this is just being able to identify some strength within the time of sales. Look at all these above the ask. The darker green above the ask, lighter green at the ask, okay? And that was a clean flush. Now, is the volume there how we want it? Not necessarily, but that doesn't mean it can't step in. We want to remain optimistic on this name as we punch through the high of the day and wait for some other opportunities. Bitcoin, I don't even know if I want to get involved with that.
Look at that,
That's good. That's a sign.
3 right there for one. That's a 3-to-1 ratio.
No, hold on, man. Go back,
That's a 3-to-1 ratio right there, my boy.
Oh, man. Sniper. That's what I'm talking about, man. I like those types of ratios. Yeah, so there it is.
I'm one of them now,
Let me read one of them.
I'm one of them now. You understand that, right? I'm one of them now.
You think that right?
You guys have no idea what we're talking about. Oh. Guys, watch out for mask. I told y'all, man.
It's sold. All right.
Go ahead,
Put mask to the side here, and we're going to head over to our good friend over there. What is it? The Land Down Under. They come from the land down. What's that Alexander Volkanovsky song? Ooh. There it goes. Bang. Here it is. ONDS really starting to pick up his momentum. We talked about 30s. I'm going to get to your super chat momentarily, but right now we have to wait for this 30 print on this bad boy. I mean, it's nothing substantial. You can do it for the kid. 28, 28, 28, as you can see it printing. We need to lift that. Needs to lift. Let's see if we can print 29. As soon as we do on the ask, then I think we're ready to rock and roll and head into that $30 marker, that 1330 level that we're looking for. There we go, 28. Now we're gonna get that 30 print. It's only a moment. It's only a moment away, Sharif.
Joey, I gotta interrupt,
Hold on, man. I'm almost there, man. We're almost there. You gotta be patient on this one. There it is in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Show them how it's done, Joey.
Bang, there it is, right there. Catch that. We didn't catch the 30. We caught 29. Go ahead, man.
Let me show you something here, Joey.
Let me show it.
It's pretty. It's so pretty.
Finish, Joey. Finish him.
Boom on Fat and Joseph options. We're in at 59, and here comes 820. We're waiting for the $0.25 right now. Fat Pipe is ripping into the high. Here comes 25. We're waiting for the cross. I mean, I just saw 24 there. Oh, come on. Fat Pipe, man, let's go. Man. Clear that 25. We're waiting for that print. Good trade here on F8. 5 super chats.
We're gonna get into this.
I didn't cover anything, Assassino. That's tough. All right, let's start this. Let's start this,
Assassino.
It up, man. Yeah, we're gonna do.
Oh, my girl, Nicola.
There it goes, Assassino. Into the $0.25. Fat Pipe is ripping up 71.5%. All right, I'll calm down. All right, let's start with this one. Nicole Harris from the beautiful city of Atlanta. Shout out to Nicole. She's ripping on SMCI as well. I was trying to tell you, Joey. SMCI, thanks, SMCI. $39.50 call, 309%. Look, she took both calls that I was talking about.
And the Ford.
And the Ford.
Wow, what
Ford. Assassino, I didn't even get to see that one. Hold on. She sent those two. All right, shout out to Nicole Harris, man. Hold on.
What?
Hold on.
What?
Mask just did exactly what I said it was going to do, guys. It failed 4.5. It's back down into 4. Careful with this one. It does put in lower highs. That's the characteristics of these ones. I'm going to have to start taking these shorts, man. But let's go back to Nicole here. My $30 option is now $500. What's going on with SMCI 39.5? 42 and $45 calls expiring tomorrow. This is your world, bro.
We can figure out what's going on with them momentarily as we keep an eye on ONDS. I'm only sitting on a couple of percentage points now as we take a little bit more off here, just because we don't want to be holding too much after that pullback. But we had to be patient. That support level held. That's exactly what we were looking for. Something that was prior resistance coming in as support. I have ONDS on the corner of my eye just in case it comes back into our break even. Hold that up there, Assassino, for the boy as we head over to the options chain. What's going on with those 39.5, 42, and 45 calls expiring tomorrow? I love the detail, Nicole, because this is what we ask for when it comes to options, because he's like, hey, Joe, I have this call, but they don't tell me when it's expiring and all the other nonsense that comes with the options trading. We're out of ONDS. We're out of Meta as it put in a new low of the day. Doesn't want to bounce just yet, but we're going to look at those levels. 39.5, bang, okay, nothing crazy. And then we're going to head all the way up to 42. Once again, nothing crazy. And then 45, what do we got there? 6,000 contracts. Hey, I mean, look at this open interest. So whoever's long here is just cooking up an absolute storm. This is where the majority of the size is laying at that $38.50 strike price. And then that could be a next target. Like, where's the next largest supply zone? You go up a couple of levels. That's that 12.1 thousand contracts open. But it's like, no, see you later. We're going to climb $3 higher than that. And there's absolutely nothing. So, I mean, there's a lot of room for this name to run at the money IV back up to 127%. So not so bad. I mean, take it for what it is, what's going on behind the scenes. We try to decipher, but it doesn't always work that way.
Nice call, Bovin.
Shout out to Bryson Taylor. Thanks, MF Dangerous. Yeah, that was more or less a scalp play here on ONDS. Sorry, excuse me, my nose be leaking due to the allergies. But anyways, yeah. Okay, next super chat, NXGX. What's going on? Everything brew. Is that coffee or beer in itself? SNGX. This might be Sharif's world.
Let me have a look.
Yeah, you send it over to that guy.
Absolutely.
And then we got our boy from the land down under putting in a super chat as well.
Let me just get those two here quickly.
Absolutely.
SNGX. Let's take a quick look at that, Joey. All right, this is the chart on SNGX. Great day, looks like on Tuesday. A bit of a consolidative lower low, lower high day, downward channel yesterday. You know, profit taking from the big move that it had prior. It feels, though, that downward channel continues into day 2 or day 3, however you're looking at it. I'll consider this a day 2 of the downtrend. Wow, fat pipe just ripped up to the $0.50. I just have to look at this here. There's $0.33 here. We're almost $1 in the money on fat pipe as this one continues to go 848 area high. I'm going to take this out here so that I can focus on some others. But let's go. Just leave that on there for a second, Assassino, just so I can look at this. SNGX. I just want to start with a wider time frame, if you don't mind, guys. Daily, yeah, okay, interesting. So likely bid non-compliant. I'd have to check. Probably not. Didn't spend that much time below the dollar. I'd have to check anyway. So it looks like it had 30 penny support, rips up on the 26th, as I mentioned, on Tuesday. And so, you know, we're encountering some resistance here, right? Number one, we're going to encounter that dollar resistance just being the psychological level. And then we've got many different kind of area bottoms, $1.10 that we need to concern ourselves with. So not a bad look. SNGX, at least, you know, on Tuesday, giving back some today, but not giving back that much. NNVC, let's have a look at this one. Okay, that's a pre-market gapper yesterday that basically faded all day. I like this one a lot less. And the reason I say that, that's a 4 a.m. print there that had 4.3 or almost 4.4 million shares at 4 a.m., quick as you like, okay? Subsequent candle, 1.7 million shares. Subsequent candle after that, 2 million, almost 2.1 million shares. The point is, though, that it did its entire trade in the pre-market and it had the most volatility within 15 minutes. Sorry, 45 minutes. Each of these is a 15-minute candle. And then it basically sold off all day, and it's rejecting yesterday's area top, which is about $1.90. I like this one a lot less. Having said that, let me be fair and give it the daily. Okay, the daily does look better than the other one that I was looking at there. This has an upward channel, not bad at all. You're going to get some of these outsized wicking days, which is, I guess, part and parcel of these small cap gappers. This one on the daily looks better. It doesn't look great, though, on a narrower time frame. So the question I have to ask you is, what's your time frame? Are you swinging this? Are you doing it intraday? Because NNVC, good daily chart, better daily chart, but the other one that you gave me there, better intraday chart. So I hope that helps. What else are we doing over here? Guys, I got to mention, Codex is ripping. So is OLTK. That's Bovin's new call out. So let's start with OTLK, pardon me. This is ripping. Shout out to my man Bovin. 79.32 area high. Likely support, I want to say between 73 to 75. Closing prints reject 73. Topping till candle goes into 75. We clear that on the way to 80. So I'd be looking for support between 73 to 75. Let me know how you guys do on OTLK. CODX, ramping into that $13 area again. 12.75, 12 2/3 right now. Feels like there's a lot of resistance at lucky number 13, but it is up 74.25%. So let's put some respect on this one's name. Yeah, I got this one wrong, Joey. I got to tell you, I thought this was going to fail. It moved down to VWAP, gave me 11. Now it's $2 higher. So CODX looking pretty good here, but there's resistance at that $3 area. And Fat Pipe is the gift that keeps on giving. Into 860 it goes, Joseph Options. Look, guys, you know, you get into that $8 area, you start glancing at 9, and my bias immediately starts thinking $10, okay? Doesn't usually happen in a straight line. Not an easy trade typically because it's spready.
Oh, Sharif.
Go ahead, Joey.
As I was just about to all right, we're doing it live right now. We're in Codex, man. It's the exact same thing that we were looking to do here on ONDS to see if we can get that high of the day break, brother. It did the pop right as I was about to punch. I have to be prepared just in case this wants to fail. Oh, we're hella OTM right now, man. That's not too good with the size that we just punched on that bad boy. So you have to be prepared. That's not a good one. Let's see if we can get one more strong uptick through this HOD. If not, we have to be prepared to get out of this dog because it's not having its day right now on Codex for that high of the day break. There it goes, a nice little uptick, my G. Whoa, what's the spread on this thing? Spread's like 4 or 5 cents on this bad boy. A couple more strong ones, and then I think we can get off to the races. But it's the exact same thing that we were trying to play here on ONDS, but the spread not helping us whatsoever. And if volume doesn't uptick relatively strong, we have to be prepared. It's more or less a scalp play. High day break on ONDS, high day break on Codex. Let's see which ones are going to work for us there, Sharif. There it is. There it is. Oh, there it is. Hey, come on, you can do it. One more. Oh, it failed big time. That's not good.
What's the spread on that animal?
It's like 4 or 5. It's like 5 cents, man.
That's not too bad.
That's not great. That's not great either.
Oh, there it goes through 13. Look for the bid to hold above 13. That's the thing. Look for the bid. Is there a bid stepping in to support you?
That is crazy.
You're getting a bid.
Yeah,
You're getting a bid to support you into 13. No way, bro.
It didn't work. That spread bleeped me, man.
Bleeped me. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. My man, well, I was trying to tell you to keep an eye on the bid, man. You weren't listening, man. But it is what it is. Codex is looking good, Joey. Good trade nonetheless, man. Good trade.
No, it's not. I actually lost.
That's all right. That's all right. You
exact same
there it goes into 30.
Now I want to chase it all the way up here.
Thank you for the super chat, Raphael. Check ASPI up 20% Tuesday and 15% today. Thank you, Raphael. Let me have.
Why didn't I just hold on?
Don't do this to yourself, brother. Don't do this to yourself.
Be another high of the day breakout here, man.
ASPI. Let's have a look. Great call. Great call. This is good. It's a steady stater. Where are we at here? We're up 14.9%. Let me look at the wider time frame. Let me just start off with the daily, if that's all right. ASPI. Okay. So, consolidative trade, certainly of the view that there's support at 4. You can kind of see that. Multiple area holdups at 4. I definitely feel as well that that $9 area sees a lot of interaction. Area high into 9, area high into 9. Obviously, it's been above that, but very ziggy-zaggy. Now, I don't want to use the moving averages for anything here because they're just overlapping and crossing to no end, and that usually is for some trouble. So I'd be looking for a move into 8.5 to 9. Raphael, certainly if you're holding from 7, you're holding from earlier because I know you've been in this multiple days. Good support there at 5. Look for beak wetter into 8.5, 9. But always hold a piece for the dream, right? Because what if it rips into 10, 11, right? So I'd say never financial advice, but definitely consider taking some off the table between 8.5 to 9. I hope you print up multiple storms. I know it's tough holding these ones overnight. At least it is for me because you never really know what's going to happen with these ones. Pipe down, 79.69, dropping 2 in the chat, Joey. Riot and CleanSpark, does the run hold AI buying capacity? Look, my understanding with this one is, they've switched up the story a little bit. They're no longer as interested in the mining of Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. And in fact, now they're looking more to become an AI sort of data center compute. That's what I
There it is, Sharif. Double the size on that.
That's what I want to hear, bro. Watch out for $0.5 resistance, though.
Yeah, man, I got out of that one.
You got it?
Yeah, I got out of that one. But I did.
That's all right, bro.
No, I'm happy with that because,
Good. So Riot, I like.
Right, nice.
I mean, the chart speaks volumes here. $12 support on Riot, ramping up into 28.25. So Riot doing its thing. CleanSpark, let's see how good. The Spark still is not at the area high into 23, but you can see this one's also running as well. So CLSK. There's others. There's Hut, there's Mara, there's a Cypher. There's a lot of these ones. Use an LLM or something to figure out how many there are and, go through the charts, see which one you like better, which one's more extended. I like the idea, especially, with the halving cycle really eating into the profitability of the mining of cryptocurrencies and a lot of the same equipment. It's not the same, but it's similar. And you got to figure they probably have a lot of logistical understanding about how to run these computers and servers en masse, right? You're doing it for mining. There's probably a lot of overlap with the data centers. So I don't mind this at all. I don't mind this. Let's see what the revenue story, though, is, right? So this is CleanSpark right here. Let's see what the revenue story is. When they report, what's the report entailing? Is the revenue coming in from the AI side, or is it still more mining related from the cryptocurrency side? It's a great story. Let's see if the fundamentals check out.
But I mean, if you're already operating at such a tight margin mining Bitcoin and it's not appreciating how you would like it to, I don't think the transition would be overly. I mean, obviously I could be wrong and I don't know much about it, but I feel like you mentioned you have this structure already there. I don't think the transition being into a cloud provider would be that much crazy. It'll cost obviously.
Probably cost some money. You got to figure these GPUs are going to be a lot more sophisticated. Like they were using RTXs and stuff like that for crypto mining. Now you got to use Hopper and Blackwell and Rubin, and those are like 30, 40
Those are pretty expensive. But if the money is there, I mean, look at some of the margins that some of these cloud providers are holding on to. It's like, hey, why don't we? I mean, I highly doubt that they're going full blown. Yeah, we're throwing Bitcoin mining to the side and just going straight cloud compute. But I'm sure you hold on to a bit, right? Like you're not just going to drop mining Bitcoin like that. I don't think.
I can't pretend to know. I just know that the story is that they were shifting, and
that's why you've seen the strength within them. I believe, right? Like
money talks, and you know what walks, right?
Think about how brutal Marathon Digital has been.
How many are there, says Ozan? I don't know, bro. You tell me. He's asking how many miners there are because I was like listing a bunch of them. There's a lot, Ozan. I mean, there's some sub $1 ones that I don't even know about. Cloud Scrumpy.
Yeah, it's our guy.
Good day again, Sharif and Joey. My Commonwealth cousins. I love this. Peace deal talks saved me from a risky triple Q options play, so I'm riding high today. Good trades, good vibes. Let's get at you absolute weapons. We love you, Cloudy Scrumpy. Absolute weapons. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, he's great. Joey, have you ever been to the land down under?
I haven't been to the east side of the world. So, you know, I'm learning Mandarin, obviously. So one of the things that I aspire to do, probably late 27, I'm assuming, a trip to China. So that will be a China-specific trip because it's such a big country. I think it requires its own trip. And then I want to do...
Yeah, man, you got to spend some time over there.
It's a big-ass country, right? So a lot of cities and stuff. So I want to go to China-specific trip, and then I might do, like, later in my life, like a South Korea, a Japan, a Philippines, Vietnam, that whole thing. And then...
baby.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I'm thinking, also, honestly, a winter trip probably would be the best move, obviously, for Australia. When
you have a polar.
We're freezing here, you know, they're
starting to cook it up over there. Yeah, I want to go to Goldie. So shout out to our guy. Bring up that super chat one more time, the previous one there.
I'm hearing Perth is really nice too. Perth is the one that's on the east side of the island, right? Like
Perth.
Yeah.
The
northeast, right? Assassino. Yeah. I'm hearing it's like it's really.
I want to go to Goldie, man. I want to go do some snorkeling at the GBR and stuff like that.
The Great Barrier Reef.
That's correct, man. Nice.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know what Goldie is?
I don't know what Goldie. I know
the Gold Coast. That's what they call it over there. Right?
I do know the Gold Coast.
And Byron Bay. Shout out to Cloudy.
This guy knows all the names.
I'm all about Australia, man. I'm all about that eastern side of the world where living is more efficient.
This guy, I don't want to hear anything about Nandang.
You don't want to hear Nandang? Da Nang, man. Come on.
Man.
Hey, do we have anybody here in the chat who's been to Da Nang or anything along those lines?
Please talk to Joey, because I'm sick of hearing about it. No, I'm playing. I don't know. Perth is on the west, so I completely got that wrong. Okay, it's on the west.
Australia. Yeah. All right, guys.
What am I thinking about then? Which one was on
There's ONDS, right? Like, what's going on with Bitcoin? I think there's a little bit of a compression play. Danang, or Danang, however you guys pronounce it.
Nandang is sorry, man.
Nandang
Francis
is crazy.
Yeah. I was doing that to troll your boy because he just keeps mentioning it.
Oh yeah, troll star. Jesse Hernandez out here. Anyways, all right, thank you. All right, we'll get into some of these super chats. I want to talk about this compression play here in Bitcoin. Let's see which way it's gonna go. All right. 2NY, love you 2NY. Been making cash on ONDS since it broke $4.
Making money,
I've been long and holding it till it does what RKLB swings it to the moon. Joe LFG, LFG is right, my guy.
I meant Brisbane, so this is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So my mom, Dukes, and I, we watch this show on the weekends. What the hell is it called? It's like something abroad where someone's moving from a city, they're moving to another city, they're either buying or renting a house in another city.
Oh, really?
I forget the name. House Hunters International.
House Hunters International.
Exactly.
You know what you got to watch?
So somebody was moving to Brisbane from like North Carolina or something like that, and they were talking about this is the city. It's beautiful, apparently.
I mean, all of Australia I think is really nice. You know, you got to watch Lux Listings Australia.
Lux Listings?
Yeah, Australia. Okay. You know, there's a Lux Listings Toronto.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And
what channel is it on?
I have no idea, man. I just streamed it.
You streamed it?
I don't watch linear TV.
I don't know.
But Point Piper, that's where like all the rich people live.
Is it?
Yeah, you should. Yo, the way that they have their houses there, it's they're very narrow, but they're multiple floors. So you have elevators in houses in a lot of them, right?
Why are they so pressed on space?
I don't know,
man. The size of the country,
We'll look for Point Piper here. Let's head over to
What is it called?
Point Piper.
Point Piper.
Yeah, they're in New South Wales, right there, baby. Where are we at?
Hold on, let me zoom out a little bit, get an idea of where this bad boy is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where Drake
so it's Sydney.
Yeah, Sydney.
Sydney, right
Point
there.
Piper, that's
so it's a little peninsula.
That's where the cash, you know me and peninsula.
Cash money. This guy, peninsulas, he's kidding me, bro.
Right.
Yeah, man, Australia. So definitely a sort of an Eastern trip at some point.
What do I need to know about the name?
Trade options, RDW, about to get very sunny. Say less. Let's have a look at RDW, see what the OG there. Trade options is talking about. I love Australia, says MF Dangerous. Apparently Roof Ninja, I think Roof Ninja is in Brisbane right now. Shout out to the Roofed one, man. Let's take a look here, though, at RDW. This is a former convict. It's been on the side charts many a time lately as it's been gapping. Guys, let's start with the daily. I just want to give you an idea of what RDW's been doing. It's been ripping. That's what it's been doing. So from the area low there at around 8.25 to the area high, 240%, quick as you like. A bit of an engulfed day today. By that I mean yesterday's price action both covers the high and the low of today, at least so far. Yesterday's low takes us into 22.13. Today's low, 22.34. Yesterday's high, 28.20. Today's high, 26.63. That's why I mean we're engulfed. I know we're going to go up to happening now in a second, Assassino, but this is not a bad one at all. I would say just look for the trend to continue. Other than that, let's look at the 5-minute over here. Looks like it popped off. Somebody had a buy option or a buy order there right to start the morning, but then there was a Christmas tree retracement. We popped off for about 4 or 5 candles, dropped back down, and now we're putting in, not an aggressive upward channel, but an upward channel nonetheless. So be on the lookout there. Looks like there's some resistance in and around 25 to 25 and a quarter. I think if we take out that area high, the double top at 11.15, 11.20, we could see 26 again. So RDW, not a bad look here, Joey. Just before we go to Adarin happening now, and then Neil's going to drop his lesson of the day, I want to mention Mask, because I'm seeing a lot of people talk about this one. Again, look, guys, I think it's a fundamentally different story that if we take out this area high. Now, I was spot on with how this one ended up trading. I told y'all it's going to find support, likely around 4, pop up into 4.5. No closing print, funny enough, above 4.5. It does wick into 4 2/3, but this is still a downtrend, okay? And it changes if we can get this price action over here above this price action over here, meaning what, man? We got to hit 480s, we got to hit 490s, we got to be moving into 5. If we continue to put in lower highs, it is trouble. I've seen these ones a lot lately. They're a great setup for the shorts. Be careful. But Mask, having said that, up big on the day, Joey. Anything you want to cover before we go to happening now?
Yeah, ONDS, man. A nice. I should have stayed engaged with this one. Stuttery Joe over there, 1310, and then now you're starting up to 1340s there. So that's a really nice continuation. Pull back on lower volume, and then you have that move higher now, 23.75% on this session. All right, guys, you know what time it is. We're gonna send things over to happening now, and then to Neil with his lesson of the day.
Ooh.
Here's the market right now, consolidating at day's highs. We've got that 735 top here on the NASDAQ, currently trading here around that 734 halves. As you can see, stalling here after reaching that peak. Here's the S&P 500, looking similar, if not a bit stronger here today. And here's USO. Now, in case you're wondering why we had that pop in the market and the drop in the USO, that's because Axios reporter Barak Ravid reported that the U.S. and Iran, specifically negotiation teams from both sides, and most importantly here, not their leaders, Iran and U.S. negotiating teams reaching at least some kind of temporary ceasefire agreement here, 60-day ceasefire memorandum of understanding. Again, President Trump has yet to weigh in on this. Apparently, he's not going to be weighing in for a couple days. He wants to consider the proposal further. It's worth noting that the leader of Iran, apparently, according to other reports, has already said no. So interesting look here. I guess we're going to have to wait and see what happens of this deal, but yet another reported ceasefire deal. Keep an eye here at 2 p.m. Eastern for a press briefing by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, where we're likely to get maybe more clarification and info on that. We're also likely to get some comments from Bessent, I highly suspect, on this GDP print for Q2, because it was not great. 1.6% was the print we got versus the estimate of 2% and the prior print of, you guessed it, 2%. PCE data, we've talked about this a couple times here, month over month, coming in a bit cooler than expected. Year over year, coming in line with expectations, but hotter than the prior prints. I have to talk about Michael Dell, because Dell, a name on everybody's lips, a ticker on everyone's mind here. We know that Dell has their Dell Federal Systems, their government side here. They got a $9.7 billion Pentagon contract. That was announced the day before the earnings report. So we are expecting revenue of $35.46 billion, earnings here of $2.91 per share for the quarter. Heavily invested in the U.S. government, now getting money, or these Trump accounts rather, they're also getting money here from the U.S. Gov for their government side. It's interesting look there. We'll get Costco of hot dog fame. They're coming out tonight after the bell as well. Same with AEO, same with UiPath. So lots of post-market earnings to look forward to. Something we all look forward to every day is Neil's lesson of the day. So Neil, let's stop keeping the people waiting. What's your lesson?
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is not just a fantastic Western film, but it is also sometimes how you demonstrate a point or a strategy or risk management. In this particular case, I'm just going to go with the good and the ugly. Forget about the bad. This is going to be very binary. There's the concept that you'll hear me say a lot of the times is to don't get in on the front end of the trade. Get in on the back end of the trade, right? And this has nothing to do with any preferences. It just has to do with momentum and what are you trying to accomplish when you put in a trade off of a key level, off support and resistance, or on a reversion, like you're bouncing off of a trend down or you're reverting a move up. And the concept is that buyers are in control to a certain point if you're shorting. When they lose control, you want to enter the short position. You're thinking it might happen at a particular place. Like I think it might happen at VWAP. I think it might happen at the prior high. If it goes higher than that, I think it might happen at the prior day support level. These are all places where I think that will happen. But there's a big difference between just sitting in front of the level and going short, and waiting for it to actually test the level and confirm, Now, obviously, when it works, you're not going to be able to tell the difference because the level just holds. So, like, it doesn't, like, whether you get in here on the green candle or after the topping tail or after it holds under VWAP, it's gonna be irrelevant from an actual, like, dollars and cents standpoint, whether you just sat in front here or there. But what I can tell you where it matters is when you are wrong, it's going to be a big, big difference. Now, obviously there's lots of different ways to trade, and we try to, we'll show you guys all the momentum stuff that we'll do from time to time. But today, and this is the reason why I want to give this example. Today, Caesars was there was an announcement that Caesars would be bought for $31 in cash. It's like an $18 billion deal. We're now at 70 million shares in volume. And anybody that watched the shows knows I like to market make on these suckers. And I sent this to Sharif because I probably started out more and you can never tell on the show because I'll never I'm not gonna let it in. But I started out with probably the most god-awful long you could imagine on this stock. And it was the first thing I did was literally buy this at the high, 31 cash. And I'm like, why am I long this thing? The first thing I did is go long. Then I did a quick little, all right, thank you, Gemini, because I didn't have any time. We were live on air. I got Gemini to remind me what the fair value was, which was this should be a short underneath 29.50. So I had a bad long. I reversed into the short and then proceeded to make maybe the dumbest mistake you could possibly have happen, which is load into a short right here. And just as it was about to fall apart, I was covering for like the smallest scalp imaginable. At that point, I just started looking for any opportunity to be short, all that kind of good stuff. But it all came to a head when I thought we were making a turn. Now, I'll use all the same principles in this as everything else. Notice how I went from just shorting the stupid thing to big volume candle, try to go long, and then try to short, then back into trying to be long, and then don't really get back into shorting until it's all the way like down here, is trying to make the long work because I saw a reversal. That's the front end of the trade. It hasn't actually broken the trend line. Like it's still trending down. Like you can see it. It's still trending down. And then you can catch yourself, and it's not about whether winning and losing and all this stuff in here. Obviously, these are all losing longs. It's more about the fact, it's not just that you are the wrong way, it's just that it can blind you, be on the front end of the trade, to the continuation. Like you're not giving yourself a chance to see the other side of it. And I'll end with one last one. Well, and again, everyone's gonna have their own different strategies. And you'll hear, I love that Luis talks about this too, with the small cap trades, that you've gotta have a notion of where you want to be in. And I'm not saying getting in on the back end of the trade is always going to work. Like I had Marvell, it broke trend, was starting to scalp out, had an offer at VWAP, I had my reload. It runs this prior bar almost exactly. Tried to bounce. I mean, I would have been out of this anyways. Like whether I get stopped out here or here, doesn't matter because there's the prior bar. And just because you're in on the back end of the trade waiting for the confirmation, it doesn't mean it's gonna work. You could make the argument that I should have tried again here. I'd say that's fair. I'd say that's fair as well. But I decided I like the shorter SMCI better at that moment, so that's what I happen to be in currently. But it's about having a set of rules which you're trying to comply to. And when you have a set of rules that you comply to, which is you're attempting to wait for the confirmation of the trade, if that's your style of trade, you really, really need to stick to it. And there's two reasons for that. One, you are less likely to get run over and have a trade which couldn't have possibly worked for you. And that's what I want to get at. If you're on the front end of the trade, and you're just sitting here in this candle, you could just be getting in and then it just runs you over. Look at when it comes into VWAP here. Now, granted, there was news in the middle of the day, and that's why I punched out instead of letting it stop out there. But if you're just sitting here in front and you take the fill as it's going higher, you never had a chance for it to work because you just sat in front of a moving freight train. There is an opportunity cost to doing that. If I'm going to wait for the back end, I'm sacrificing the automatic opportunity to get in by not taking it here and taking it here. But what I'm giving myself a chance is at least there are some sellers at the place I'm expecting before I make the trade because I'm going against the grain. There is a trade-off for that. Everything in trading is a trade-off. If I am going to minimize the risk and have a greater chance of being with the turn, I've got to give up getting into the trade sometimes. That's just part of it. There is no free lunch. Show me a trader who just only ever sits in front of levels and says, I'm just going to take it through me every time. I really don't care. They're going to get run over more often. And you're going to have bigger blowouts. You're going to have trades that never stood a chance where you're only ever fighting it. If you don't want to have that be you and have a little more of a consistent style, you will miss trades. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're going to try this, and anyone that watched us trading Cerebras, that's exactly what happened to me 2 or 3 times, trying to get the curl on Cerebras. I was favoring the short all the way. It was SSR. I'd try to get it on the way down. I'd miss and then miss $10. But if you took it against you, sometimes you would just get run over and lose $10. That's the trade-off that you have to make. Risk management requires you to make that trade-off sometimes. And some people will look at it and say, oh, but you're not taking enough trades. Oh, but you're being too boring. I'll let that be true. I would rather be profitable and boring than exciting and right and down. So when I say take it on the front end, the back end of the trade, not the front end, it's not just because that's what works for me. Like I showed you an example. I was all over that series turning volume, and I even made that mistake there. And I've been trading those things for like 20 years, and I'm not perfect. You know, I made a boneheaded mistake on it. I was talking to some other guys that were trading, and they did the same thing too. So I guess it tricked a lot of people. But that doesn't mean that you don't learn from it, right? You want to give your trades the best opportunity to win, and sometimes that means a phrase that a trader once said to me, and I'm like, I almost live by this. You've got to be willing to miss the trade to make the trade. Because if you're not willing to miss the trade to make the trade, then I promise you, you don't have a very good risk plan. That's the thing. There's no difference between having an out and having an actual entry setup. If it doesn't fit your parameters for an entry, just because it's at a price isn't good enough. You know, that's not good enough. And I've seen it burn traders time and time again. And you just keep fighting it because like this is my level. I'm just going to buy in front of it. It doesn't always work that way. If it gets to your level and there's 10 million shares on the bid, well, fine. That's a different story. That can be part of your entry strategy. But sometimes you want that confirmation, and it's all going to be a trade-off. I did polish off the lunch. I don't even know what to say about this chicken, except for the fact that I don't want to show you too much of I don't want to tip the sauce over. The chicken came in this bowl, which was half sauce. So it's drenched in this sauce, yet was somehow dry. So the flavor was fantastic. I know I can't give it a fail because the flavor was delicious. I mean, the sauce is delicious. It's just weird to me that a little bit of that. I know what Joe's talking about, that Fruit Loop aftertaste. It's that one, so Joe might not like it for sure. But it was still solid enough. The rice was okay. The vegetables get a 9 out of 10 for me. But that's the only thing that gets the high grade, which saves the entire lunch. We'll throw you guys back to the midday, market at the highs, futures strong, even Bitcoin's starting to go as well. You gotta like it.
10 tap. About 10 or 15 seconds here for at least the earliest open on Mask. It is halted at 526 tap, showing 618. Let's watch the open here. It's going to be a 10-minute minimum halt. What's the time on your time in sales there? Just give me the time real quick.
Me?
Any time in sales time.
12:04.
Yeah, and the seconds?
42.
Okay, then it's not going to open. Okay, so it's going to be a 15-minute halt here on MASK. The tap just keeps going up, man. It was 570s, then it was 6, now it's 620. So this is a very aggressive move. Wow, clearing that $0.50 pretty decidedly there and all the way up into 526, as I mentioned. Still showing 620 here on the top.
I'm gonna try this thing here, man.
I like it, bro.
I'm gonna limit on open this bad boy.
Why though?
Why not?
Just look to see, you know, because
I'm
sometimes you get a dip.
622.
You get a dip to try and test. Okay, so what I would suggest is try to put it a little bit below the halt level. The halt level is 526, right?
Yeah.
So oftentimes what you end up seeing after the halt, it'll come and test that halt level to fill the gap, even if it's like super transient, like microseconds. You'll get a wick down there. You may get the print, and then it'll immediately be $1 in the money.
But I limit on open at 526.
That's
so
what a little bit higher. I put like
higher?
530s, 540s, something like that.
You got me scared.
Up to you though, man. But anyway, it is
Why
what
do
it
we
is.
got this thing up here?
Shout out to Fabian. What do we got there, Fabian? Throw it back up. Who's number one right here? It's you were looking at this one.
Yeah, on
ONDS.
Yeah, man.
It's ripping. Number 2, Mask. Not surprised about that. The soft one's up big today. AMD. I submit to you guys, Softy is really kind of up on the news that we heard for what was that other one that they had a tie up there with? I forgot.
You see, who did where Benioff had that partnership with that online provider? Who is it there?
On the earnings call, I didn't hear anything yesterday
who
about
is it?
the
I know Dara knows.
the Benioff thing. But there's stuff
Some
coming out of the
telehealth
Middle East
provider.
right
I forget who he.
now. Telehealth provider?
Yeah.
Not really sure. With she still Fluffy, what's going on, Fluffsters? How are you? Hope you're doing well today. I wanted to mention a couple of different names. People are saying Zscaler is moving, so let's just have a look quickly at the scaler. Let's put it at the end there. Tough day for that one today. Hopefully it's recovering a little bit today. Were we up?
I thought it opened.
Zscaler is up 3.5% on the day, man. So let it rip, let it go. A lot of support there at 127. Wow, and then 127 held like a glove, and it's ripping up since that time. So the scaler moving up nice on the day. We'll see how far this bad boy can go. But I'm all ears right now and eyes and everything else for Mask. I want to see how this one's going to trade, especially if you know it comes in to fill that gap. 622 now, the halt level there. So I want to bring in a couple of names that I want to mention to you guys. OTLK looking pretty good. It has support at the 74. Remember we were talking about 73 to 75 buy area. It's holding up at that area, so I might move in here to OTLK. And I also want to mention the other one, QTEX. This is looking awfully bullish. Could see 3. It certainly tried early in the pre-market into 294, now showing 284. Good bull flag pattern here. QTEX, some names to keep an eye on. I'm still holding BRTX. It's neither bothering me nor distracting me. Very slow mover. It's putting in higher lows for what I perceive to be a possible flat top break. So on the lookout for that. Fluffy says, it has been a great day. Made my day, walked away, came back to lurk, and maybe make a few more. Absolutely, Fluffsters. Just make sure they're A+ setups, because I always hate giving back my day. I know, obviously, you're not going to do that. So kill it. Happy to have you around, Fluffy.
Good stuff. Are you looking at NVDA? It broke VWAP now. To which direction, my friend? I mean, we can take a look at it. I'm not trading that name right now. Once it starts to get in play and things turn around on it, 212.87. That's good to the top side. I mean, we'll take it. Let's add our volume weighted average price to this one and see how we are looking. Yeah, but see the thing. Okay, I don't want to shoot it down or anything. I just don't want to get involved with a name that's moving sideways. Look what the SPY and the NASDAQ are doing, right? Like, what are we even talking about? Could this be somewhat of a laggard? Absolutely, but market high of the day, good stuff. SPY high of the day, and then you have NVDA hovering around $212, going absolutely eastbound, right? I don't have time for that nonsense.
On the
right
Gardner?
Now. Yeah, sure. We can go eastbound on the Gardner. I was trying to think. I was gonna say you're probably gonna get stuck in traffic, but that's either way, you're getting stuck in traffic. It doesn't matter where you are. 519 there on AMD. Shout out to Dougie and see if we can get those tunnels built in the next 30 years. That'd be fantastic.
That's
AMD.
there it goes. It's ripping now. Here we go.
There it goes.
Mask is up and it's going.
Baby.
It didn't even come close to the fill. 630. Let's just watch now. Are the buyers going to step in? Where are the buyers stepping in? The bid is moving up. Bid's moving up. I can't. Limit up is 744. Limit up is 744. Looking for the continuation now. Let's see what we get. Do we get a loss of 6 here? Continuing to watch. 744 limit up. It does feel like it will fill 6 though. So looking, see if the buyers step in at 6. Joey, are you in?
No. Are you?
Yeah, I'm in. But if it fills 6, I'm a bad price 58. Here, so we give back a lot. Yeah, that's the way it is. Give it watching. Let's see, does it hold up? Prior bar low takes us to 565. So 6 still showing up here as an area defense. Let's see if it holds up right back above this $6 area. What's the low again I said of prior bar? 565. All right.
Let's see if we can, if it's going to make a move there, I think there could be an opportunity. Let's see what this next 1 minute candle is printing. To see if this is just a little bit of a consolidation. If the strength steps in, then I think you can get a pop right out of the get. We're not gonna go haywire on this bad boy or anything, but we like the Momo style trades, and this is gonna be the candle that we're looking for. Is it going to? No, I don't like the strength of it, Sharif. I could be wrong there. Bang. Let's try it one more time for a little uptick because there's a base at $6. We want to see this work relatively quick. By no means are we in any substantial size. This is more or less the feeler to see if it was going to be a 3-bar play. We're okay with giving some back on it just in case the momentum doesn't want to continue. I was going to ask you this, Sharif. What are the probabilities if you halt once? What are the probabilities of it? This is a question for Luis, maybe, of it falling into a second halt parameter. We're slightly ITM on this bad boy, but it's not doing anything crazy. I'll be prepared to take some off if we can't continue there. And there it goes. It fails. Should have took it where it was, but that's nonetheless. We're going to send things off to Adara, but let's go Mask. Give us one more strong uptick.
I just want to mention here, because this market is at highs, I'm seeing stuff recirculate. Keep in mind, these are things we already know, but again, as it's being recirculated, market's pushing higher, I will address it. A Fox reporter on X just said that apparently U.S. sources have told the White House press pool that the U.S. and Iran have agreed to a 10-minute agreement. This we already knew. To end the conflict, apparently the agreement is pending approval from President Trump. This we also already knew. So just recirculation of seemingly optimistic reports here that we could get an end to this conflict between the U.S. and Iran, or at least, again, a 60-day ceasefire agreement. If I get more details, I'll let you know. Back to you.
All right. Yeah, Scalp City on that bad boy. MASK. We'll take another one there. Just had to wait for this pullback to get involved, even though it's nothing. But you take those couple of cents when they come. I thought we'd be a little bit stronger. I wouldn't be surprised if at this point it's going to break this previous pivot, especially if we don't break through this 614 low. If this 614 low continues to hold up, I think you can go off to the races. And there it is, some strength stepping in. There it is. And when we hit the bid, we didn't give up too much there. So let's go MASK. And then where's Luis? Sharif keeps telling me he's on vacation because that's what they do over there in the eastern side of the world, is that you guys get to live it up during the summertime. But what are the probabilities? And for more small cap gap traders in the chat, what are you halt once? What is the probability of us heading into a second halt relatively soon? Not too bad of a look, Sharif. You're in at 616s. Hopefully that holds up for you. You got 10 cents ITM right there.
Yeah, I'm not really worried too much about it here. There is a seller at 40, so I think what we may fail here. Big seller at 40 that we can't shake. We're losing a little bit of the trend. 620 was a buyer, so if we don't hold this level, I think we're going to fail. But we also need to take out that 40 penny seller. It's mid 40s typically, putting in some lower highs, keeping an eye on the 5-second chart, acutely aware of the 620 buyer that's going to fail here. That down into 6 it goes. Let's see if it pops back off. I'm going to let it stop me out below prior bar low. If it doesn't stop me out prior bar low, I stay in the trade. But it does feel like it's really top heavy here. Back above 6 we go. Do we have the juice to kind of get back up into this level? Let's see what we can get on this one. What do we got? We got 13s on. So put some here in the 30s. Mid prints coming in here on the ask side, but no continuation above. Looking for a move into 6 1/3. There's a local seller now in the mid-teens, low 20s. You can see that. 20 rejects. So there is a seller here, and they're moving down their order from the mid-40s. This could be a failure of 6 1/4. Watch out for the failure of 6 1/4 here, and down it goes. I'll stop out there. So we'll give back a little bit on that one. Not that bad of a trade. The first one was worse, quite frankly. So this one, could it lose prior bar low? It's still holding up at prior bar low. Buyer here at 580. It's going to lose prior bar low momentarily, and there it goes. No, not quite. Where is prior bar low? 565. Current bar low, 564. So did technically breach it. What is the trend here? We still have that $0.50 buyer. Let's keep an eye out on that. See if this one can work right back above 6, Joey.
All right, good stuff. I was just about to ask my guy Gorv in Los Pollos to see if they took that meta base at that 630 level. That would be at the low of the day, and now it's starting to bounce a little bit. We got all out of this mass. My chart glitched for some reason. I don't know why, but it's holding up right now. So some incomplete data here. And once again, it's only a couple of, like 15-cent scalp. That was it, and then we were out of dodge. We didn't put anything crazy on it anyways. Just a nice little top up there on MASK. Let's head back over to large cap land and see what we got going on. AAPL 310, still hovering around those all-time highs. You're not far off of that marker at all, but Meta is this dog, man. I mean, this is this is definitely one of the I think it's like my third or fourth largest holding, and it's good to see this finally start to find its footing. This is what we want to see. Netflix, we reduced size in this hot garbage right now because it's not doing anything. And the same thing with Bitcoin, right? And like, I mean, I was holding on to Robinhood. We were fortunate enough to sit through the upside on this thing, but then we give a lot of it back, sitting through the downside, and then adding into this trade. Full disclosure, I'll tell you guys exactly what it is, because that's the reality of things, right? So reducing exposure in some of these fintech names. I'm just gonna stick with JPM, CDR all day, every day, and see how that really performs for us. How's Nebius been doing here today? Nothing crazy. Applied Materials still on a big time run. Head over to the daily and see what we got. Oh, okay, yeah, not surprised that you're almost at an all-time high there. And then also my new good friend here, NASA. Sharif, did you see the holdings of NASA?
No.
Yeah, let's pull that bad boy up right now. NASA, and a good thing I already have it up here. 10% SpaceX SP PFD, Rocket Lab, Planet Labs, Filtronic, Intuitive Machines, Firefly Aerospace, ASTS, even more here, Black Sky, YSS. I don't even know what YSS is, but anyways, what we got in the top 5.
I think it's York Space Systems.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I've never I've never heard of them, to be honest with you. The other names I have in Intuitive Machines, right? So I mean, I like the holdings of this ETF. Are we in and at a great price? No, but I just started small. I tell you guys time and time after again, that I don't buy things all at once. I used to YOLO like that, but that was when I was ill-informed and didn't really know what I was doing. Thinking about it, it's not too bad of a strategy, but sometimes it doesn't work all the time, and the next thing you know, you're like, oh my God. But here it is, $24.24, 73%, and I'm in, I literally bought it a couple of days ago, just a little bit, just in case this gap filled. I'm prepared to buy some more throughout the duration of my life because I like the holdings, and we're going to get involved in some actual SpaceX too. So yeah, that's what I got going on. Let's see if Mask is continuing to rock and roll. Sharif, good entry price on that one. I think it can bounce a little bit here. Bitcoin breaking through VWAP. There it goes. There it goes, breaking through VWAP. Give it a couple more upticks here, especially if this candle holds up. I like how we open up on the top end of the range. Now we just need it to continue to hold. But guess who's at a new high of the day? Yeah, DRAM. Good job. Good guessing there. And then Q is an SPY. Man, take the strong hand of some of these plays here. Did you see that? Did you see that guy's in the new Scary Movie?
Wait.
The Take My Strong Hand guy?
Nah.
He's in the news. I didn't see it yet, but the Take the Strong Hand guy is in the new Scary Movie, just in case anybody was curious about that. I could hear Adair's excited, but there goes AMD. Oh, yeah, all-time high. Like, this is insane stuff, if you ask me. $195 up to $522. Yeah, take my strong hand. 170% right there on AMD off of those March lows. Crazy stuff.
All right, man. Resistance at 6 here on Mask, continuing to watch. Let's see if we can get a breakthrough. We got a momentary breakthrough 6. I think it went up to like 606. Yeah, 606 or 605, nothing really to write home about. Immediately retraced down. You're getting some bottoming tills into 5.5, but the point is here, we need to get through 6. So you have some higher lows locally here on the 5-second chart. There's 6 again, and there's a rejection of 6 again. So it pops up, but it has no follow through again, showing 6 on both the ask and the bid, but no continuation. Let's see who wins out this battle. Let's see if we can get through 6. Now there's somebody setting up aggressively at 6, so I'll take a little bit of profit there in case that one should drop. We'll put into 625. Oops, that's not what I want to do there, Joey. Not 625. 625 for a profit taker there, and we'll go possibly 650. Either that or we get stopped out. So continuing to watch, looking for the move above 6, but it feels like, you know, definitely that 6 seller is in control at the moment. So we'll continue to watch and see if it does drop down. 5.5 gets me out of the trade, but it does feel like 6 is a bit too much right now for the longs, who are, I don't know, there's a bit of an equilibrium. I mean, we have higher lows, but you're not able to shake that seller at 6. So that creates obviously a bit of a problem. Still holding on to my BRTX trade, still holding on to OTLK. I did weasel into that one. We're in at 75. It's showing me 75 right now, so nothing to write home about. Those are the 3 trades we're involved in. I'm looking for MASK to resolve either to the high side or the low side. It is losing trend though. It is putting in lower highs. Watch out now, guys. 80 coming in, so it has broken that up higher low trend. Unless it recovers and makes another attempt at 6 here, I think we could stop out below the 570s. So continuing to watch out. What do we have? 87s on. It's showing me 83, so not a big deal, but definitely need to be concerned if there is slippage below my stop. I tried to give this one a little bit of room between the stop price and the trigger price, and there it is, 575. It feels like it's going to lose a bit, popping right back into 89 again. So a little zig, a little zag here, Joey, with MASK. What are you guys looking at in the chat? Any new small cap gappers? Throw them my way. Tag me so that we've got notice of them. I think I'm going to stop out soon on this one. It just keeps putting in these bottoming tail candles. It hasn't filled the gap yet, by the way, into that 5.25. Now it hasn't filled 550 either, but the local trend doesn't look that great, guys, on MASK.
Yeah, oh, there it might go now.
We'll see. It's got to clear 6, Joe.
Yeah.
If it doesn't clear 6 decisively,
it's in trouble.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see what we got going on here. Holding up on that support level. I actually want to pull this thing up here on the 1 minute, just in case. MASK, we see something that we likey over there. Shout out to me likey, if you guys know who that is. But honestly, I have to give the biggest shout out to our guy.
Jesse Hernandez?
No, Marco Hernandez. Yo, that's crazy. It's actual Marco Hernandez. So,
fantastic.
So Jesse's cousin over there. No, he made a sick reference on that one. But no, let's get right back into these markets. Sold a bunch.
That's it. He says. You bet. Reported
right away, man. That's
Love
crazy.
It,
all right, sold a bunch of covered calls on Amazon. Got me nervous when it's spiking yesterday afternoon. Since my strike price is $280, but now looking more reasonable, not wanting to sell. Okay, listen, no, me like so yeah, all right, making $7. All right, let's see. What were we just talking about here on Amazon? Let's pull that bad boy up. Yeah, it's not looking too bad. I have no idea when they expire. When we talk options, we need a little bit of more information, but Crouching Tiger, Hidden Rally, yeah, I mean, not too bad. The one thing that I always just warn about is, like, don't forget, even though it may seem attractive to sell some covered calls, price appreciation will always be significantly more than what you're going to receive via premium. All right, so sometimes it's just not even worth it, especially when your stock's on a roll. Like, what are you gonna do? Sell covered calls against a name that's been going absolutely parabolic to collect a couple extra $100 or a couple? If you're collecting thousands of dollars, that means you probably have hundreds and hundreds of shares. It's just not even worth it. But when your stock's doing nothing, like within this range, you can see this is a little bit of a consolidation here going on. Then I don't understand. I don't see any reason with anything wrong with selling 285s, 290s. Are you gonna be collecting premium to the end of the world? Absolutely not. It's not going to be a crazy amount. That's why it's best to wait and just allow stocks to consolidate, and then that's when you can start selling some premium. Moving forward, how has Broadcom been doing? listen, you're in an uptrend, and now you're starting to form this compression pattern right here. I wouldn't necessarily call it that, but you're consolidating all the way at these highs. Yeah, exactly. A bull flag is what I was looking for there. And then sure enough, I wouldn't be surprised if it's only a matter of time it takes an additional leg higher. How has Tesla been? We're still waiting for the cyber cap to come out and Optimus and all of that stuff before we really get the ball rolling on this. So I think there's going to be some good opportunities to even get involved with that. We talk about Netflix quite often. It's just not in play right now. No one really cares about some of these streaming providers. It's the memory names, it's the chip trade, and you can see a rotation out of certain other sectors and into what is extremely hot right now. And one of them is going to be Snowflake. I'm surprised that we didn't even come in to any of this gap. You open up at 237, you're now $5 higher than that point. And now in just the span of a day, you're only 15% off the highs. As for when you went to bed earlier that night, you were down 40%. So things are looking absolutely optimistic. Need us to talk about Dell anymore as that name continues to absolutely just skyrocket. 182% there, guys. So a lot of in-play names. What I'm going to say is some of the streaming providers and the crypto space, these fintech plays, Coin not performing overly well, the Robinhoods, and maybe even the SoFi. That's not too bad for Robinhood. Okay, we'll take that as we have a little bit of an uptick here today. But you can see this downtrend still fully intact.
Yeah, I don't know how this mask trade, there's a lot of consolidation sideways right now on the 5-second chart. Support in the 70s, resistance in the high 80s, 90s. It's putting in a lot of bottoming tail candles. It hasn't quite filled the gap. I'm willing to give it to about 50 pennies, but let's see how this does here. So it's one of those ones where you're just gonna have to wait until an either big money buyer or big money seller comes in, and you either get the breakout or the breakdown. And so right now we're continuing to see the selling into the high and mid 80s / low 90s. We're seeing the buying step in the high 70s / low 80s. Let's continue to watch here. 90, 92. No continuation, though, through 6. There's 615. No continuation. There's no continuation yet. I didn't even get a print at the $0.25. So, and there it is, filling right back down. I'm out.
Wow. Holy smokes.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the way that works, right? Like, it's not even letting me out. It's not even letting me out, bro. This is so bad.
Halted now.
It's just so bad.
Oh, man.
Unreal.
Oh,
there we go.
False hold.
Yeah, good thing I got out there.
Yeah,
and that just blew through my thing. That's what I was trying to tell you. There's no continuation there. You could see it, right? That's just the bamboozlement of this whole thing. But hey, that's the way it is, man. You make some, you lose some on this one. By the way, BRTX not looking like what I wanted it to. It's coming down into 47. I gotta give this to about 46 or so, but I'm not liking the trend. I'm gonna end this one here. Might as well just focus on OLTK. That one's doing a lot better. Let's see if this one pops off through that 80 penny area. But that's what I was trying to tell you, to go back to mask there. And that's what I was saying to Joe. It didn't continue through 6 1/4. And that was the area that I was earmarking because that was my first liquidity test. So that wasn't even 1 hour for me. And the reason I even put it out there was to test the liquidity at that level. And that was just, classic bull trap. Getting you in long through 6 and boom, all the way back down. So you win some, you lose some. What's the halt level right now on MASK? Can't quite see it. Let's see if it drips down a little bit more. I'll be able to tell you guys exactly what limit down is. But right now, it has broken trend and broken trend quite badly. So
yeah, unmask, yeah.
Bit of a tough one there, Joey. The bleeper. That's the way it is.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Yeah, so let's see what else we got going on. That was really fast and furious. It broke through that. Baby. This is just absolute liquidity grab, getting people to punch in immediately up here in the break. And I was thinking, I'm like, oh, okay, I was thinking about getting it because it looked like it was primed to get going. And then imagine I got in a little bit too late and then it just flushed, man. That would have been absolutely horrid. Yeah, so that's some fast and furious movement there. Or did you guys take any of this? Because there goes Meta bouncing right off of the volume weighted average price and now starting to head towards the low of the day. Oh, wow. I think at this pace, it's going to break it. Same thing here with I shouldn't say the same thing, but you have the inverse happening on Bitcoin. So a punch through VWAP, and then now you're starting to slowly grind higher. Now, as for SPY and the NASDAQ, we're at the highs of the days. Who's really leading this charge in this name? I know AMD is performing, but NVDA was doing absolutely nothing. And Angry Wife, let me know what scanner you specifically want. I know Sharif's given his, but if you want my large cap, it's nothing complex. So who is it? How's Google been here today? Not doing too much. Apple, is it Apple? No. Microsoft? I mean, Microsoft isn't at the high of the day, but forming a bull flag here. Someone said they were writing 420 calls. You might have to roll those over and think about it. This name has been a massive laggard. Watch out for it, all right? It might start to play catch up at some point. Tesla, have you been part of it today? No. So, I mean, are we talking about market breadth right now? Because the only one who's super strong is AMD. Mag 7 aren't really doing too much, but yet the NASDAQ and the SPY are at the HOD. So who could it be? I wonder. Let's see. Let's head over to actually our top performing. Let's head over to our top performing sectors here, Sharif, and see what we got going on.
Let's check it out.
Yeah. So the tech sector is leading the way, up 1.6%. Comm sector sitting in that second spot. Actually, no, it's not. Healthcare sitting in that second spot, which isn't too bad. So, yeah, I mean, other than that, guys, also, here, I'll give you guys this. I'll let you know momentarily, but we'll get you guys this free options chain rolling relatively soon. So don't worry. And there's going to be a lot of cool tools that you guys can have, like replay and everything like that, tick replay.
It's going to be really good, man. Put that on the full screen, man.
It is full screen.
Hit F11. There you go.
Yeah.
That looks fantastic.
I see why. I see why.
Yeah, your boy Joey Opsh, man. I told you guys. Remember a few weeks ago, I was like, this guy's scheming something.
Yeah.
We didn't know exactly what. Then he came to me the other day. He's like, remember those lessons you used to do on the midday? Can I have them? I was like, oh man, this guy's cooking up something.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he was cooking up there, man.
Yeah, man, we'll get our data.
And then he's got everybody to join too. He got Sia to join. He got me to join. We're on the wait list. This looks actually fantastic, but Joey, honestly, it looks super professional, and
appreciate that. And then
I think it's quite helpful.
This is what a lot of us are looking here for. There's a lot of lessons. We got everything all sorted up. There's your boy right there.
Hey.
And then also, this is going to be a hot commodity, the Algo Vault that we've been putting together for you guys. And once again, like scanner, you're going to have the free scanner there. The training ground, which is going to give you a lot of tools. Sharif also helping us out here with the Trader Toolkit, giving your position size, your risk to reward calculator. So this is coming to, I was going to say a site near you, but it is. We're going to make sure we get it out to you guys when it's ready to go. Right now, we're still in beta, and there's a lot of things that we just kind of need to clean up on it, but it's going to be your one-stop shop, hopefully your market today, as we have our economic calendar and some other things overview. But I think there's so many cool features on this one, right? Like your replay, this is huge. Your trade planner, right? So you can plan your trades within that, and then obviously within the sandbox, you get to mess around and do a bunch of things. But I think this is going to be hot, right? Like everybody's going to want access to their live options data. Doesn't even matter. We'll put that in there, and we're going to get that to all of you guys as a community relatively soon. Look at Mask Go, but here's our options chain on that one. I'm looking forward to it, guys. Soft launch. We're not going to do anything insane on that. Don't sign up just yet because we got to be prepared for that. So hopefully you guys are going to enjoy that one.
Who's the server on that?
.io?
Like just like who's hosting that? That's what I meant. Sorry, that's the question there.
It's I'd have to ask my buddy, the programmer.
Yeah, just because like there's going to be a lot of demand, Joey.
Exactly, right? And we don't want it to get too crazy. So yeah, thanks. When's it coming? Yeah, a lot of people are intrigued. It seems like we want to do a poll. I want to do a poll, Fabian. Can you set me up with a poll? Not the typical one here where we type in the 1 and 2 and 2 and all that noise. I want an actual YouTube poll. Is there any way we can get that done, Fabian? No, all right, good stuff.
I think he's got his headphones.
He's busy. He's definitely busy and got his headphones. Can we get that up, Assassino? I know you're rocking and rolling. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. No worries, man. Just I should have looked at the schedule. We'll get that done after, guys. But there it is, a nice indecision print on MASK. Which polls are better? The poll.
Is an interview coming up?
Momentarily, yeah, apparently.
Nice.
So whenever we get the green light to go, we're going to get rocking cool, looking into Shade CN UI, Magic UI, some Registry UI, just Claude about it or whatever. Yeah, we're going to look into anything, man. As I mentioned, beta, we're still in the early stages of this thing, but we're going to try to make everything into one, right? Like whether it be options education, small cap education, indicators, strategies, everything, and then you're going to have the opportunity to get involved in that. The algo vault, which I think is going to be the hottest commodity, but just the tools and the features where you don't have to go from site to find all of these things. It's just everything in one place, right? Like we got the scanners, you have your economic data, and everything along those lines. So I hope everyone's going to enjoy it. We're going to get the poll up later, the Trader Toolkit. Need I go on anymore? We're going to listen to some smarter individuals than I am. We're going to send things off. We have a couple of guests here today, guys. We're going to send things off.
Excited to welcome back to the show here Janet Huffman, CEO, and James P. Kelly, MD, Chief Medical Officer, both here with Oragenics. Great to have you back. How are you guys doing today?
Just great, thanks. Good to be here.
Doing great. Thanks for having us back.
Of course. So let's start actually here. Last time you guys were on here in January, you were still pending approval to begin phase 2 trials. Since then, you guys, I know, have actually been approved and you've started your trials. So let's start with that. Congrats on that milestone. Janet, can you outline some of the milestones that Oragenics has met so far this year?
Yeah, we've accomplished a lot in the first half of 2026. And I'm excited to see what happens for the rest of the year. We've accomplished so much so far. To your point, our phase 2A clinical trial is active in Australia now. We're actively enrolling patients. I'll let Dr. Kelly speak more to that as our Chief Medical Officer. But our lead candidate, ONP-002, is on track. It could be the first and only non-neurotherapeutic in the market with no FDA-approved solution for concussion. So we're super excited about the opportunity and the progress that we're making and the opportunity to be the first mover market advantage for us to have here.
Congratulations on an awesome first half of the year. With that in mind here, Dr. Kelly, can you provide us with an update on patient enrollment, as Janet just mentioned here, and dosing for your phase 2A clinical trial of ONP-002?
Absolutely. So as Janet indicated, in Australia, which the FDA approves early stage trials to occur, we have actually dosed our first patient within days of activating the first site of 3. Then that was actually in March. Then in April, the second site of 3 came on, and they're screening patients as well. And so this is moving along quite, as we had hoped and expected, with patients being enrolled and or dosed. And then a third site will be, we think, within days, also activated once the local research governance office in that community in Australia approves the final stages of approval. So for right now, with 3 different cities at 3 different trauma centers, this is being done in Australia in a way that we're really excited about.
Let's continue here on 002 for a bit. Janet, what can you tell us about your company's regulatory program to bring this treatment to clinical sites in the USA?
Yeah, super exciting. So we're doing 2 things at once, right? We've got phase 2A active in Australia, but we're actively working on our FDA path and our IND submission by the end of this year. So we're buttoning up our preclinical work, and we're going to submit our Type C meeting request letter to the FDA in Q2. We're excited about that open dialogue with the FDA that will lead us into that final IND submission by the end of the year. And we're excited to bring clinical trials here to the U.S. Next year.
Very exciting for sure. Let's talk a little bit more here. I'm going to go back to Dr. Kelly, zoom out a bit and just look forward about Oragenics' platform value. How is your company looking beyond first indication in concussion and traumatic brain injury?
So again, we've just been talking about concussion or mild traumatic brain injury so far, and that's the lead candidate that we're talking about being trialed in Australia. But this approach with the intranasal application of tiny molecules of medication can actually pass through nasal passages into the brain area, surrounding it through the blood-brain barrier, avoid a whole series of obstacles in the human body that keep medications from getting to the brain. And actually, that would be useful for other neurological conditions as well, with related chemicals, related molecules for stroke or Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or even MS. And so it's possible that in the next near future, we will have opportunities with this approach, with this proprietary intranasal device that actually gets this medication into the nasal sinuses for a wide range of neurological conditions. We're excited about that pipeline as well.
You guys definitely have a lot here in the works for sure. So Janet, let's end off here. Can you tell us about the opportunity within the sector and how specifically Oragenics is poised for greater success within this concussion treatment market and beyond?
Absolutely. This is one of the most exciting things, right? So we're building a CNS platform. We have OMP002 as our lead candidate. We have 8 other small molecules that are showing indications in all of those areas Dr. Kelly just referenced. We have all of the proprietary intellectual property for our novel intranasal device that can be licensed for other indications, not just ours, but to others as well. The concussion market's projected to be $8.9 billion by the end of 2027, but we have the added advantage of the nasal delivery market, which is projected to be over $125 billion by 2030. So we have a wide open market opportunity in both areas for concussion and nasal delivery, and we're really excited to see where Oragenics goes in the coming years.
Excited to see what you guys have next. Thank you so much for coming back here to the show. Janet Huffman, CEO, and James P. Kelly, MD, Chief Medical Officer of Oragenics, OGEN. Thanks again, guys.
Thanks for having us. Bye.
Great look there, great interview and great information. Thank you for the pair for coming on. All right, Joey, what are you looking at there?
I was just thinking about concussions, to be honest with you, and how they're not really that much fun.
No. I would agree.
And PCS as well.
I haven't had one, or one that I know about yet, but.
You haven't had one that you?
No, I don't. Well, not that I was like diagnosed with, but you never really know, man. Playing football back in the late 90s, early 2000s, you know, could have certainly been one that went undiagnosed there.
For sure, absolutely. Most likely, like that's almost it. We almost lost. So tighten up, yo. All right, guys, let's head right back into these markets and see what we got going on here. $4.60 on mask. Are we going to break this lower high trend right now on this name and see if we can get, there it is, a nice little pop-up, but we want to see a substantial amount of volume kicking in there, guys. Meta, I mentioned this not too long ago, expect this to head towards the low of the day, but what has been performing relatively well here is Bitcoin. When I seen this, I'm like, hey, are you going to fill this gap today? And I think that might be the narrative. It could take some time. It is quite a ways away, though, so maybe not. But I guess it's not that much, right? So another 50 cents away, and then you can we can have a soft gap fill on this. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that. Let me make it a little bit bigger so we can all see what we're looking at. Gap down from that 41.99, and then now we're on the trajectory to head in towards these pre-market zones. If you happen to enter it, obviously we know with Bitcoin 24/7 market, so you won't see this. But now considering there's a heavy institution and you have the inflows and outflows within IBIT, it can have an impact on what's actually going to happen. You know what? I thought that IBIT would be extremely beneficial for Bitcoin. It hasn't been a fraction of what I thought it was going to do. Dare we go back in time a little bit and see what it's done since the start of whatever this thing is called, IBIT, right? Sells off. We're not surprised about this, but look at this from March of 24 when it starts all the way to November of 24.
All the way up.
Right? So that's a lengthy time where you do absolutely nothing. And I understand that you go on a run, but I forget what Brian Shannon said. But anyways, you know the saying, the longer the consolidation, the longer the potential breakout. I just don't feel we got that. And in October, I forget who it was, someone in the chat was like, hey, Joe, did you say this? Yeah, and I pulled up the chat. As soon as we rejected 125,000, 126,000, I'm like, this doesn't feel right because I just have the hunch that we should have went a little bit stronger, and that wasn't been the case. And then now we've been in a downtrend since October of 25. Okay, 5 more months. I mean, that's quite a bit of time, but 5 more months, you're at a year downtrend within Bitcoin. All right, so that's why I'm reducing exposure, especially after this curl over. Could I be wrong considering we had trend line breaks? Absolutely, but I still have plenty of skin in the game, and I'm okay with that because I mentioned this earlier in the day. I believe there's going to be a lot more opportunity and something that I can have a higher percentage return in than holding on to so much BTC because it's proven throughout time that it's not going to perform well. What has been performing well here today, Sharif, is ONDAT. ONDS, ONDAS Holdings, 27%. I wish I was still on that trade here, but not rocking and rolling, 1373 and continuing to climb. So not too bad of a look there, guys.
All right, just throwing in my stops. Apparently, FCell is moving here, and it was negative on the day. Both Bloom and the Cell were negative, and they're both popping back off, so that's good news here. FCell up almost 3, Bloom still south of the $300 area, but both are curling up here. So, yeah, I was basically looking at this FCell trade, and I was like, yeah, you know, this has got to hold up above 22 bucks, and it's done that for 2 straight days. So, I think if we get the continuation on this, I may add into this position. What I want to see is a reclaim and a close above 27. The reason I'm earmarking 27 is because multiple topping tail candles all rejected it on 3 days in a row. And then you got a failure back into support, which is essentially 22. So if we break and close above 27 on the sell, definitely going to add into this position. So we'll see how that cookie crumbles. Continuing to watch OTLK. I want to mention, just before we go to Adara, Bovin gave me this one while Adara was doing the interview, DAIO. It's quite spready for a $4 name. I saw the bid at 86s and the ask at 5, so you got to trade this one carefully, but it's got an unabated to the quarterback uptrend here starting at 10 afternoon. And so this has been unchallenged so far, at least by the shorts. It's not up big, but it's up a respectable amount here. What is this thing up above in DAIO? What is this? DAIO, sorry, 1 second here. It's up 26.33%. So not a bad look. We're going to keep monitoring this one for the moment, though. We're going to go up to Adara.
Newest Anthropic Claude model apparently launched, and so with that in mind, we have some stuff to talk about. Klarna pushing higher here. Anthropic partnered with them on workflow, so nice look for Klarna. GTLB, though, pushing lower. I mean, recovering a little bit, but there was volume on this spike to the downside. Anthropic announcing they're introducing dynamic workflows in Claude Code. That could be some competition here for GTLB, which reports earnings next week. Back to you.
Yeah, you and I were just talking about Claude. I'm increasingly using it for a lot of stuff. I feel it is as U2 assassino, eh? I feel it's as level-headed as an AI can get. I find ChatGPT very restrictive now. I was telling you about the peptides. It did that to me with other things as well. It wasn't just that. It just refuses to answer, what it considers to be proprietary information behind a paywall. Funny thing, it'll train on that proprietary information, so it'll have it in its knowledge base, because training, pre-training and training are different. And then once it has it, it acts as a gatekeeper, and it tells you it won't give it to you. I'm seeing that a lot from ChatGPT. But if you're looking for something aggressive and you're looking for something that's going to give it to you as honest as possible and just more of like a, to the wall kind of, it's Grok. The more level-headed of all the AIs, though,
you were telling me about
Claude.
That, Grok.
And I didn't even really want to use Claude because I didn't like that whole doomerism approach that they were taking.
At the beginning, you didn't want to use it. I told you.
And then Brendo told me, look, you got to install it for the morning routine and stuff like that. So I started using it. I'm like,
and it's good.
Just the old culture.
For me, for my vibe coding style and creating algorithms, I still like ChatGPT because I've been using it the most. That worked for image generation and creation. Gemini is there, but then also for refining, I like using Claude. Claude is up there. I didn't like Gemini from a coding standpoint via PineScript or Python. It didn't spit out what I was looking for. It was always ChatGPT that did that. So You have anything there that you want to go on about there? All right, let's see what we have, guys. Bitcoin at the high of the day, and or not the high of the day, but pretty close, and heading into some of these pre-market zones. All right, so keep an eye out for some form of rejection. But if momentum slowly starts to uptick, then sure enough, there it'll go off to the races. The low of the day at 59.90 on DRAM. Now you're at 63.50. I don't know, man. Like you had like the tiniest of pullbacks, and then now it's just absolutely gone once again. This is crazy. Like it was just what did I pull that up there? DRAM. What'd you get from a percentage standpoint? Okay, 20%. Not even. Sorry, that's a little inaccurate. 16, 17%, and then you just bounce right off. So that's big time, man. $47, you're now catching 63. So you're almost gonna catch a 33% return just like that in the span of a couple of days. I just can't buy it up here. I'm being honest. I just don't know. Could it be a multi-year run? That might be the case, but give me another 20% pullback, and then sure enough, we're involved. We have SanDisk putting in a new all-time high, and Micron probably doing the exact same thing, just a couple of pennies away. I just can't justify buying up here, and I'm just going to stick with that narrative. As for Meta, hot garbage today. Not much follow through from what we've seen yesterday, but I said, and I mentioned this, that watch out for tomorrow's session, Friday session. Why? Because as long as we stay inside this range. Yeah, it's all right, man. It happens. I punched out at the low of the day on some iBid too. So, hey, man, it is what it is. So as for sales at the firm today for us, good team, man, not too good. But other than that, right? Like, let's see. As long as we don't sell any more aggressively here, then I think we're gonna have the opportunity to open up and then take in that 3-bar play into 651 here on META. Remember this big gap up, and then it proceeded to sell off there. We're still 15%. Off of that level, and then off of the all-time highs, we're still sitting down 20%. But if you want to look at this previous pivot low, you're up almost 20% as well. So not too horrible, and thanks for Zuck for issuing that 53-cent dividend.
Divvy.
Yeah, I know, you might need
You've been getting a lot of calls right lately, man.
Oh yeah, the dividend call.
The dividend call, that was 1, 2, the cloud call.
What do you mean what's going on with that, man? I can't...
No, I mean, I'm like, that's it's pretty...
Things that we didn't think were going to happen?
Well, I don't think anybody challenged you on the Meta cloud thing, but nobody else was saying that.
Yeah, I was saying that.
You were saying that. And you're like, why isn't Zug getting into cloud? Well, there you go.
Now he almost has no choice, to be honest with you, man.
And I was thinking, like, I mean, are his hands tied here? Are the shareholders kind of forcing his hand because of the CapEx? Headline: Anthropic working to release Mythos model to all customers in the coming weeks. Good. I mean, the companies that working group of 20 companies or whatever that they put together have had it for a minute. The idea there was that they were going to give it to them first so that they could find all the glitches or undiscovered vulnerabilities in legacy software with a view, obviously, to patching them and then releasing it to the schmucks, the public at large, so that we could use it. But, you know, can be honest with you, a lot of people are saying that the vulnerabilities okay, so no, here's how I should phrase this. Mythos was just first to the punch in the sense that it was able to discover the vulnerabilities first, but they're saying that the Chinese are like months behind, not years anymore, like 2, 3, in models, not in cards, in processors.
Yeah.
But in models. So
like
they're
training
saying
models and
the sophistication of the models and their ability to kind of discover, like we were just talking about, their undiscovered vulnerabilities.
Yeah, Jensen's been saying that for quite some time, man.
But so then when you take that argument, if you agree with that premise to its logical conclusion, the conclusion was that if the Americans didn't get Mythos first, right, and then kind of do that whole working group to try to patch up some of legacy, the Chinese would have had it first, and that would have been chaos.
Chaos.
That would have been chaos.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, compared to if this ongoing battle, you want to be the first to the end of the race. Well, I guess there is no end, but you want to be first to the punch. But a lot
of people were claiming that they were able to catch up through distillation, and I see Notorious Dingleberg saying that.
What do you mean by that?
Distillation is where, okay, so I take your ChatGPT 4.0. I just inundate you with requests and use as many tokens as I can possibly to kind of extract all the information and then train off that. It requires like requests and whatever, what do they call that? Connections en masse. And they're able to detect that. Like they know, chat will know, be like, oh, we encountered a distillation attack this day, this time.
So you just
they have an idea.
You prompt to no means essentially on it.
Look, I'm no programmer, so I don't know how to do it. I'm just kind of regurgitating what I've read and heard and stuff like that. But
someone said farm trader.
All right, let's talk about this. APTC's move ATPC is ripping. Shout out to Farm Trader. Also, who else was calling this one out earlier? Shout out to Outlaw Trader. You were calling this one out. We're still a little bit below yesterday's high of 830. That is, I believe, an aftermarket high. But this one could get going here, guys. 798, that's the technical high, so it does move in to $8 there or thereabouts. Sorry, let me throw in the ticker there, ATPC. If we clear 8, it looks like, we're probably on the way to that topping tail candle that we formed yesterday on the 5, which was around 440, the high of which is 830 on the dot. So be on the lookout here, ATPC. Making big moves. Let me know if you're ready to go, Sia, with the news. You are ready to go? Sounds good. All right, Assassino. Let's do our thing.
Let's begin today's news segment with the name that I covered on the board, Snowflake. We're going to go over Snow plans to spend, as I mentioned, $6 billion on Amazon's cloud services unit and expand its use of chips from Amazon. It also reported its first quarter earnings yesterday, topped estimates on its AI momentum. Finance chief of the company, Brian Robbins, has told analysts yesterday that AI tools such as Cortex Code are driving a step function change in the company's AI revenue potential. Now, Snow has also increased its guidance on growing momentum in AI-powered tools, like I mentioned, Cortex Code and Snowflake Intelligence. And Snow expects a 12.5% fiscal second quarter adjusted operating margin on $1.415 billion to $1.420 billion in product revenue alone. And Snow has said that it has added 616 new customers in the quarter, reflecting a 38% year-over-year growth. Currently, Snow up on the day, whopping 38%.
That's what I want to hear. I want to hear the sound effects. Get it, Sia? No, seriously, though. So everybody was fixating, as well as they should be, on that $6 billion AWS cloud partnership for general and AI momentum. I get all that. But there was a lot of, nuance in the report we really need to talk about. How about the fact that they grew their non-GAAP operating margins by 300 basis points, all the while only hiring 17 employees in the quarter to be able to achieve that? I mean, that to me as a business owner, that's quite aggressive, because typically what you're doing is you're having to increase your fixed cost to increase your top line cost. So that is very, very good. And my assumption is, I didn't actually read this, nor did I think management mention it, that this is probably AI related, right? You're having smaller teams, working groups, right? All who are a bit more efficient. So I love that side of it in terms of a balance sheet. I'm not sure how I feel about it in terms of employment in the future for people. Let's also talk about that full year guidance bump. They increased their guidance, $5.84 billion from the $5.66 previously. And the reason is, it's not what you think. It's not cloud related. It's vibe coding. It's called Cortex Code. And they nickname it, I don't know why they nickname it this internally, but they call it Coco, okay? I guess maybe because Cortex Code, Coco. The point is, they got 7,100 new paying customers, and that's the reason specifically that they're increasing their full year revenue guide from 6.6 to 8.4, $5 billion, that is. So I love that part of it as well. And how about their dollar-based revenue? No, I don't care about that. Lower gross margins, though. Let's talk a little bit about this one. So their first AI product, okay? Hold on, where's my notes on that? Lower gross margins, they maintain 75%. First-party AI products carry a naturally lower gross margin. That's why. So it looks like their gross margins were a little bit higher when they focused specifically on cloud, but now that they're getting into neo-cloud and having to expend CapEx on AI build-out, that's eating into their margins. I don't think that that's going to be a one-off time or a one-off incident where we have just squeezed margins in this quarter because we had to buy new equipment. Let's be honest about it. AI chips and AI servers and everything that comes with the AI data centers costs a lot more than what you had been paying simply for those cloud servers and those cloud data centers. So I think margins, at least for the foreseeable future, while the equipment for AI is in, tight supply, that their margins could be squeezed a little bit here. But this is a fantastic report. I think it's definitely good. This company's got some momentum because we've been seeing outages and stuff.
I don't know if you remember, but I brought Snowflake up like quite a long time ago, Sharif, when like this cloud was really starting to boom. But one thing, this cloud infrastructure really starting to boom. Did you talk about the AWS partnership?
The $6 billion? Yeah, I was like, that's the headline everybody's talking about.
And then what's this company name? The acquisition, what they acquired as well too. The company, I forget who it was here, see if I can find it. But nonetheless, man, we were talking about this name quite some time. Now, what I was just thinking as I was getting up and using the washroom and grabbing this orange here is what happens if this space starts to become a little bit crowded? What if there's too much cloud and it's like too much storage and no one's really occupying? I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case anytime soon, but what happens when you become more efficient? But Snowflake, it's gone on a big-time run. We were talking about it not too long ago. I brought it up to you guys. You were down 37% off of the highs. You cut that in half. By the time you wake up, that's a pretty good feeling here in Snowflake. So not too bad. I'm not going to complain about it whatsoever.
I got a feeling that we're going to talk about
who did they
drones
acquire
next. What?
I'm trying to find out.
The name of the company?
Oh, Natoma. Yeah, we don't really know too much about it. Also announced the acquisition of Natoma to enterprise model contacts protocol platform of AI agents. Okay.
Is that racist?
What's that?
What?
I didn't hear what you said.
My bad. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Let's take a look at our next story. Unusual machines and drone stocks are surging on Pentagon's contemplations. Now, Trump administration is in talks to fund several drone companies. This includes one which Donald Trump Jr. is a shareholder. After months of discussions that are held by the Pentagon with multiple drone companies, these deals could include equity stakes, which will potentially give the federal government some ownership. And UMAC, look at this chart, is soaring up 63% on the day after the announcement that it is one of the companies that is in talks with the Pentagon for this particular deal. Now, KTOS, that I also cover when I'm doing my small cap segment today, is up 14%. AVAV, which I also cover, is up 18%, and they have surged. If these deals do take place, it will potentially ramp up domestic production and also lower the costs of drones. Sending it to you.
So I really like this. I mean, you got to be, completely living under a rock to see exactly what modern warfare is shaping into, whether it was Ukraine in 22 and currently, or, how we saw Iran respond to a much superior military force, conventional military force, of course. So I do like this. I'm more, just from my perspective, I'm more interested less in the drone makers, even though they're very much in vogue at the moment, and more in drone defense. And sometimes that actually includes drones. So the company I was talking to you guys about was Shield AI, and how they were, they had this autonomous drone that was able to target drone swarms independently and kind of just take them out. All right, sorry, I have to interrupt. QTEX is ripping over here. I've got this one at 302. It's into 327. There it is, ripping into 330. Watch out here. QTEX on the move and looking to do some damage. Seller at 28. It popped off, I believe, into 32. I was waiting at 33, a little frustrating there. But this one is very strong. Look for the continuation here, but this one did sell off pretty aggressively before, by the way. So it does have a tendency, I should say, to make area highs and then immediately retrace. Here's 29 again, looking for continuation through 33. A lot of selling at this level, the high 20s here on QTEX. What do you make of this whole UMAC thing? There's so many different companies that the U.S. government's probably going to throw their weight behind. You have to assume they're probably not going to want to take one winner here because it just creates too much concentration risk. I don't know how you feel about that.
I totally agree with you. I mean, you get 3,500 drone motors in October 2025. They struck that deal, another 20,000 components in 2026. And obviously Donald Trump gets involved with this, so that's why you probably get a 100% return, a little bit more than that, 130% in the span of a couple of days. It's the same thing. I think someone mentioned ONDS because that's drone defense as well, is it not, Sharif? ONDS, strong here. So RCAT, the exact same thing. So the space, most definitely in play. And if you look at the war over there in the East, a lot of it is drone warfare now, right? Like these guys are flying. And I mean, I think that's at such a small scale compared to what you can see if conflicts really start to get extremely aggressive. It's just going to be drone warfare, really, and it's really, really hard to defend. You see that net that they created, the net that they showed?
Yeah, man, they've been using that for a minute in Europe now, right?
Because you have
there's
to,
entire cities that are covered under nets, right?
Right.
But here's the other part of this whole thing. And a lot of the countermeasures to drones has been electronic countermeasures, knocking them out of the sky, this and that. But they're using these fiber optic drones that have like multiple kilometers or miles, in your case, worth of cables. And those are super hard to intercept. So I think it's going to come down to the drone swarm technology. And the reason I even mention this is because a lot of people are saying that you're going to need autonomous drone swarm technology to be able to take them out because there's just too much for any one person to be able to target automatically. And that takes us back to that same issue we were talking about, which is autonomous weapons deployment. You saw the fallout between the Pentagon and Anthropic over that very issue. So is there going to come a point where these airborne drones, these airborne counter drones that are countering drone swarms are going to be given autonomous targeting without human intervention? Because according to the experts, that's really the only way to do it. So I don't know how you square that circle, man. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the chat, especially if you have experience with these things, because I see it as a very, very interesting opportunity.
And I showed you that Vice News bit where they're in parts of Africa, they're already doing mass testing for these AV vehicles.
I'm not surprised. Are you?
Like these war vehicles where you just mount insane weaponry on them, and then you have the individual who's kilometers away just literally driving the devices. And it's the exact same thing with some of these drone warfares. So the actual how things were going from before are drastically changing. And I mean, I think there's a couple of ways you can look at it, Sharif, because I think it'll lead to less boots on the ground if you just have to fight swarms and you have to fight these AV. So you fight fire with fire and use the robotics and everything within that realm to essentially combat each other.
So Fluffy Hippo is saying HII, Huntington Ingalls Industry.
Yeah.
Why do they spell industry like that? Are they British? Huntington, HII is the ticker, global all-domain defense partner building and delivering naval ships and technologies. Segments include Ingalls Shipbuilding, Newport News Shipbuilding, and Mission Technologies. Includes non-nuclear ship design, construction, repair, and maintenance business. Segments include all of its nuclear ship design. Doesn't say much here, at least in the IB. One about drone technology, but thank you, Fluffy,
Huntington's
for
in
that.
Africa with Vice News. That's who's doing a lot of that training.
This company right here? So you already know about them.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that the Africa example was this company?
Huntington, yeah.
Interesting, man. You and Fluffy have the same idea. All right, I think we beat this one to death. Let's go back to Sia.
We're talking about Best Buy climbing after that earnings beat, having that upward breakout pattern on the chart. Best Buy has reported a top and bottom line beat in its Q1 earnings today. Comparable sales growth of 2% has contributed to the overall revenue growth for the company. And it has also reaffirmed its full year guidance of revenue to be between the range of $41.2 billion to $42.1 billion. Best Buy has said that its biggest growth drivers in the service in this quarter were gaming, computing, mobile games, and services. It's also reported a net income of $276 million, which is $1.31 per share, up from $202 million or 95 cents per share in the year-ago period. The earnings also have come a month after when the company has named Jason Bonfig as its new CEO. Currently, BBY up on the day, 18%.
Yeah, I like this, especially now as we look for a recovery in the consumer PC business. That's been a tough business, especially since COVID. So good to see there. Also, I think it's reflective of consumer spending, which we're acutely aware of, given the inflationary picture at the moment. So to see that consumers are still spending on big ticket items at least assuages some fears here locally with respect to a possible slowdown. Because let's cut the crap, man. The U.S. economy, you know, it's trying to diversify into production and other things, but it's still very much a consumer-driven economy. So if the consumer's not spending, that is a bit of an issue. I like this. I like the fact that they're spending on expensive items. I don't care much for the company. I don't know when the last time I bought anything from Best Buy was. I don't know when the last time you bought anything from Best Buy was. Typically buying everything online now, but they seem to be doing all right.
Yeah, I think in online sales, that's growing. But other than that, what I'm seeing is just some modest growth, to be honest with you. I don't see anything substantial. But what I was thinking here was potentially, are we starting to see the trickle down and a lot of people wanting to get into the devices? I don't even know if you can buy the Meta devices at Best Buy. I'm sure you can. But that's what I'm getting at is, are we starting to see some of this AI trade and this AI spend into some of the tools that the day-to-day user can use and can apply to their day-to-day, obviously, operations? So what does that mean for Best Buy? Like, I'm looking at some of the numbers. It's like same-store sales supposed to grow like 1% year over year. Domestic online sales up 1.4% year over year. Like, these are not eye-popping names. Maybe they're better than what the street was expecting, but I think it is a good reflection, and I believe it is a good reflection of what the consumer is up to. I just believe it has to do a lot with the trickle-down effect from a lot of this spend and people wanting to get involved with some of these new tools and components that they can use.
Okay, see ya.
Talk about Wix layoffs amidst this AI surge that's going on in the market. Wix is slashing 20% of its workforce after CEO Avishai Abrahami has announced in his post on X today, citing the fast evolution of AI capabilities, as well as the difficulties around currency exchange rates. Now, Abrahami has said that the Israeli shekel continues to strengthen against the US dollar, that the company's exchange rate has put a structural pressure on the company's ability to operate at the current scale. Wix had 5,277 employees at the end of its first quarter. This is according to a company shareholder meeting update this May. Therefore, the cut would be affecting over 1,000 employees of the company. Currently, Wix trading flat. You can see the chart on the screen, not doing anything.
Pretty much a company that's ripe for disruption. I don't know, man. I think we created, at least in this company, multiple websites using AI. We're no longer hiring people that do this kind of stuff for us. So with extension of that principle, are you really going to be needing these website design systems that have existed for the last couple of years? But specifically to the actual report, they're paying 60% of their employees in the Israeli shekel. That's weakened, as Sia mentioned, against the US dollar. That obviously creates internal problems, but they also had $1.6 billion in share buybacks, and what that ended up doing was it basically depleted their cash reserves down to about $900 million, leaving them a little bit strapped on the quarter there to cover some expenses. So that is something to think about there. And there's also this massive kind of Q1 financial scissors effect. So despite a 14% jump in their revenue, about 541 million, give or take, their operating expenses continue to shoot up, and it shot up by like 50%, 423 million. Right, so the revenue jumped 541, but their operating expenses are coming in at $423 million. So that's dragging some profitability out of that whole thing. Something to think about. Not a company I follow all that much. Yourself?
I mean, I actually tried using this, and then my buddy's like, "Yeah, get that garbage out of here. We're gonna do something else."
You say hi, man. You should have seen what Brendo made.
Listen, I understand that the templates and things are good. Like if people want,
it's not even a template, bro.
No, I'm talking about this is what this is essentially
that's
providing.
What I'm saying. Yeah, why do you need that?
You don't. You literally don't need it at this point. It's gonna probably be one of those names that will have zero chance of recovery, just because it's so much easier than what it was before to construct something. Obviously, you have the currency headwind as well, but I think it's only a matter of time until this company is just probably going to be no longer, because it's too easy to construct the things you're talking about. What Brendo, I don't know what he did, but whatever it may be, It's too easy. You literally can type into any of these LLMs and they can construct something for you.
If I can get it from Brando, I'm going to message him now, see if I can get it and show it on the site. It looks fantastic. It took him a few hours.
Yeah.
Because he had to, you have to, a little bit back and forth.
You have to vibe. You have to vibe.
Yeah. But I want to read what Trader Forever wrote. Very astute point. But I kind of a little bit disagree with you, Trader Forever, but I want to read your point out here because I feel like a lot of people are probably thinking the same thing. Y'all need to do some serious thinking about AI and jobs. If you think the people, along with government, is going to let AI replace a boatload of jobs without some policy implications, you're crazy. I think you're absolutely right, and we're seeing a lot of this. Bernie Sanders, chief among them, there's a lot of people who are pounding the table about the dangers of AI. But I just want to point out that this is not the first time a disruptive technology has swooped in into society and really disrupted how people make money. Just think about, the hollowing out of the, what do you guys call it, the Rust Belt there. Just think about how many manufacturing jobs were lost in the 70s and 80s that found their way to somewhere in Asia, in China, Vietnam, a lot of Japan as well, earlier in the days. I mean, we recovered, and the unemployment rate, I think as recently as a few months ago, was like 4%. So there's an ebb and flow to this whole thing.
You see the youth unemployment rate here?
Yeah, we have a fantastic youth unemployment rate here. It's not like double digits or anything like that.
And it's funny, I was listening to the radio and they were commenting on it, and they're like, yeah, it's just because the wages are a little bit higher for youth, so it makes the untrained and the unexperienced a little bit more difficult to...
Why don't you tell them what you think about the youth?
What do you mean? I already know the answer, bro.
Say it.
I don't have to say it. Why
I love this guy because he was giving it to me real off camera.
It's
about
true,
exactly
though.
what he was thinking.
No, in all reality, what it is...
I'm hot with it, man.
It's not coming hot. It's just the reality of the nature of what's going on. Sharif, I don't know what you did as a teenager.
I was working since I was 10.
You're same. I was out there raking apples and doing stuff and burning bushes back there. But what happened is the majority of the kids had the fast food restaurant job. They had the Walmart job. They had those where you would go, you worked part-time, you went on the weekend, you went in after school and you worked there. Those jobs are no longer available.
Why are they no longer available?
We had a mass influx of immigration a couple of years ago where those jobs were occupied. Now, does it fall into the realm of, hey...
Hold on, I got to pause here for a second because you saw what Tim Hortons just said the other day.
What did they say?
They're going to come in on this if you want. They said that they were going to stop hiring foreign workers or slow down the hiring of foreign workers.
Listen, those were the kids. Those were the high school individuals. Those were your first jobs, right? And that's no longer the case.
Joey, okay, Sia, speak to this as well, because you're obviously allowing your argument.
Hold on, you and I both said this. I think there's too much of a bubble around some of the youth these days as well, too, because you and I both said the exact same thing. My child would be on one of those scooters delivering food, but parents apparently these 2 days don't want any scratches on their kids. So for me, in my opinion, I'm putting them on. I'm literally putting them on that scooter, and you're delivering food because that's what you did. That's what you do.
I think it creates character and discipline. Sia, give us your take as a younger person. How do you see this job market?
Honestly, I was shocked to read that. I get the immigration changes that are happening in this country. There are many controversies surrounding it as well. But I just think it's not. I don't support the decision. I understand that the job market is pretty saturated and people are searching for jobs everywhere. But I think it's not fair that only the local Canadian youth gets the opportunity. It's about competition. It's always been about competition. So it's about who gets there first, who proves themselves to be better, and that's how you get a job. That's always how it's been. It's not been about the race or gender, ever.
I see what you're saying. I get that. I know, but, the thing is, those are taxpayers that are, I mean, your point is well taken. I like the fact that you brought the competition aspect of it, because if you put them together, basically, and say, all right, you're a Canadian citizen, you're not. If we just default to Canadian citizens, do we kind of take some of the competition out of it? So I completely hear what you're saying about that. That is actually a good point.
And 100%, but like we also have to look into the aspect is that it's been completely like you don't see the average person. Most of it are foreign workers who are doing the fast food restaurant jobs. There has to be some form of a balance.
There has to be, and just so the chat is just so they understand. She's not advocating for any illegal workers. These people are here legally on visas, right? So it's not like the same situation that you guys have in the United States where a lot of these people are undocumented. They were here legally, but what's happened is there were issues with real estate and rent and jobs. So the current government, liberal be it, they've slowed down essentially students coming into the country, so foreign students are having a hard time about it. Even the foreign students that are here are having trouble getting.
Just want to mention that again, that in no way am I condoning illegal immigrants. Yep.
No. All right, it's your world, Sia. We're just living in it. What are we talking about?
Thank you so much. Let's get back to stocks and the market, and let's talk about Kohl's. Kohl stock surging, all thanks to the improving trends. The company has said that its net sales have decreased 1.7% and its comparable sales have slid 1.1%. Now, in the first fiscal quarter, it aims to turn around its business and regain that market share. Kohl's has also reported a comparable sales that have dropped 2.8% from the previous year. LPS, 13 cents versus 19 cents expected. Revenue, $3 billion versus $2.99 billion expected. For the period ended May 2nd, Kohl's has reported a net loss of $14 million compared to a net loss of $15 million for the prior year quarter. My apologies. Revenue has also declined $3.05 billion to $3 billion, and the company has reaffirmed its full-year outlook, expecting the sales and comparable sales to be in, I would say, a range of down 2% to flat. It's expecting adjusted EPS between $1 and $1.60. Currently, KSS up on the day almost 20%.
So this is a significant beat on the EPS, 13 penny loss. You're still losing money, but the street was looking for a lot more. As Sia mentioned, 18 to 21 pennies worth of a loss. This is also 4-year high in sales trend, guys. So comparable sales did slip 1.1%. I get all that. But the company's best quarterly comparable sales performance in over 4 years. Sequential recovery as well, I think, from the previous quarter, about a 2.8% drop. They also reaffirmed their full-year outlook. They're targeting EPS on a yearly basis of about $1 to $1.60 on net sales. That's down about a little bit. There's also an aggressive inventory and debt reduction. So the company slashed total inventories by 8%. It's about $2.9 billion, give or take. That wiped out its revolving credit facility, which they obviously had to pay interest on, which goes onto the fixed cost. So that's down basically to zero. And you compare that to a year ago, they had about $545 million with that issue. There's also a massive short covering bounce because the stock had plummeted about 35% year to date, heading into this morning's print. The unexpected fundamental stabilization of the company, whether it's better on EPS or its debt reduction, that triggered a massive 20% short covering surge against a deeply depressed base.
Bro, what?
Go ahead. What happened?
Dude.
What happened?
What
Go
the
ahead,
hell,
Joey.
man? I didn't expect that from you, man. I have to do it.
Who cares? That's not even that bad. Why are you doing that? That's not even that bad.
Did you see what he said?
Egg, yeah.
He'd egg you? He'd throw eggs at you?
Okay. I'd probably drop him.
There you go. He's dropped anyways right now. So
I don't even think that's bad, bro.
I do. So there, I thought Darius was my guy. That's not Darius Gold.
Exactly. And can I be quite honest with you?
Right.
I did my fair share of egging back in when we were young, Halloween a little bit.
Don't incriminate yourself.
Yeah,
there.
well,
all right, guys.
Fine,
I mean, with Kohl's, I mean, you can beat the bar, and we talked about this on another name not too long ago. When you set it really low and you come in better than expectations, sure enough, here it is, right? So off to the races you go. Lost than expected, so that's coming in at 13 cents compared to 16-cent loss last year. Net sales still down about 1.7%, and then also it was better than 1.7% the year before, which that makes zero sense. But sales fall 2% to remain flat compared to what we've seen last year. So they're starting to clean up a little bit. Sharif talked about inventories, but when you're when you're getting rid of inventory and you're giving those discounts, what does that mean typically? You're going to see a little bit of margin compression, which isn't good, but they are slowly starting to turn things around. The lower you set the bar, the easier it is to succeed, and I think that's what Kohl's has done here.
All right, see ya. Let's talk a little Marvell.
Let's take a look at Marvell's accelerating data center demand. Marvell has delivered a solid quarter with revenue of $2.42 billion versus $2.41 billion estimated. Now, while data center revenue has reached $1.83 billion, which is up 27% year over year. The second quarter revenue outlook is between the range of $2.57 billion to $2.84 billion, and EPS guidance above consensus has reinforced the idea that hyperscaler AI spending remains extremely strong within the company. Management has also explicitly stated that revenue growth should continue accelerating through the year 2027, and fundamentals are looking strong. But this is also, I would say, a look at the company's ability to manage expectations while also nurturing its AI growth. Marvell currently up almost 3% on the day.
My space here, so I have a lot to say. All right, so number one, first and foremost, they had to spend a bit more money. That's fine, right? Because their sales are booming through the roof. So they had to spend $1 billion upfront prepayment just so they get the packaging for their custom ASICs. So we've been talking a lot about packaging. It's basically when you take the processor, you put the RAM around it on the circuit board. It's all one very nice little package. So that cost them some money, and packaging is getting a lot more expensive. Just ask Intel. They're charging everybody up the nose now because nobody wants to use their foundry business. Quite, yeah, we've heard 18A, 14A, blah, blah, blah. But that's one point. The other point is, well, they had some acquisitions as well, and we typically know what acquisitions do. They eat into margins, at least for a quarter, 2, or maybe 3. They picked up Celestial AI. We know they picked up XCon Technologies back in February, so their margins dropped 58.9%, 52.1%. I'll take that any day, especially if you can expand your competitive moat. For a couple of quarters, you get your margins get hit. I'll take that deal every day. Matt Murphy also, that's the CEO. He confirmed that Marvell is also expanding its high silicon photonics collaboration with NVIDIA. Now, we know NVIDIA is getting into the photonics game vis-a-vis NVLink, excuse me, and they're partnering with Marvell on that. Couldn't be a better headline. Let's also talk about their last quarter, which they hit $3 billion revenue run rate. Q4 yesterday, they officially moved that guidance a full quarter early. So they were going to hit that in Q4 for $3 billion. They're now going to hit that in Q3. Who can't like that? Let's talk about the what's it called? The hyperscalers. Because I was a little concerned ahead of the print, full disclosure, that they had too much concentration risk with Amazon and AWS because they were making Gravitron, Trainium 2, Trainium 3, blah, blah, blah. Now they've got deals with Microsoft. They've got deals with Google. They've got deals with Meta. And they even have deals with Apple, all for custom silicon. You gotta love that. And that's gonna basically emphasize that their long-term $10 billion cumulative custom silicon pipeline for full year 2029 includes all 5 of those hyperscalers. No longer, in my opinion, is this a concentration risk story.
Yeah, I mean, I like everything that this company is doing. I like even more that Jensen and company invested $2 billion into Marvell. Just may as well invest in the competition if you have the cash. But what we got here, July of 2025, when they reported estimating 66 cents, coming at 67. You're going to see the pattern that I'm getting at here. October 31st of 2025, 73 comes in at 76. Jan 31st, 2026, 79 comes in at 80. Oh boy. April, 79 comes in at 80 once again. So you're just having these consecutive beats. Exactly. All right? And I think it's just going to be the exact same narrative as long as the chip trades continues to stay in vogue. Now, Sharif mentioned some of the names that they're getting deals with, they're signing partnerships with and getting all of these deals. My question is, what happens for the hyperscaler or the lower end for the individual who cannot create their own custom ASICs chip? Where do they fall into? Who do
they buy GPUs from NVIDIA and pay through the nose.
Right? That's just the narrative.
What are you going to do?
There's nothing you can do.
You want to pay Broadcom? to design it for you? You want to play Marvell to design it for you, then have Taiwan Semi do it? Do you have the scale?
Do you? Probably not.
Yeah,
Who's
exactly.
Who's that shoe company that decides to get into Allbirds?
Oh, God.
Yeah, you think they're going over to Broadcom and to Marvell?
Hell no, man.
How much? They had like $5 million.
I don't have any money.
They don't have that stuff, right? So I think, and we also talk about some of these sovereign, like, are the sovereign nations prepared? Are they ready? Because if they're going to start their build out, are you going to be starting off with Marvell in the Broadcoms, or are you going straight to NVDA? I don't know. I think that's a good point. Yeah. I think that's a good question that needs to be asked. But other than that, this company is just going to be fine, because what got NVDA to where it is right now is spent by the hyperscalers, and they're involved with every single one. So that's why you can't help but like the stock.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at Salesforce, CRM's EPS beat. Now, Salesforce has delivered a rather strong beat, reporting an EPS of $3.88 versus $3.12. Estimated revenue reaching $11.13 billion versus $11.05 billion estimated, raising its full-year EPS guidance. The issue here, however, is that the revenue guidance was only roughly in line versus its expectations, but Agentforce annualized revenue has jumped 205% year over year to $1.2 billion, which has helped reinforce AI momentum and monetization. So to summarize it, I would say that there is a strong profitability improving AI monetization, but it's nearly not enough yet to fully change the market's cautious software outlook. Couple analyst commentary here maintained by neutral by Macquarie, overweight by Barclays, equal weight by Wells Fargo. And before I head to the guys, Adara, give us your take on Salesforce.
Yeah, I have a couple things I want to say here. So for one, this is just a look at their revenue for the quarter. As you can see, the vast majority of this is subscription and support. That grew by 13.9% year over year, which clearly bolstered the overall growth you had here for Salesforce. But I want to talk about this other segment, this much smaller, admittedly, professional services and other segment. Now, yes, this grew only slightly year over year, but for the prior fiscal year, so for all of fiscal 2026, this was actually down year over year. So the fact that we're seeing slight improvements here in the first quarter of the year, not too shabby. Now, furthermore, I know I don't talk a lot here about technicals, but in this case, I actually found something really interesting I want to talk about. So there is a very clear range in which CRM is stuck. The top of it is around 180. The bottom is around VWAPs, around that 178 area. Unless and until this thing breaks one of either of these levels today, I think CRM could be kind of dead in the water for trading on an intraday basis right now. But yeah, just an interesting observation, because I know I don't talk too much about that, but something I did notice here on Salesforce, not to go to Mark Benny off here, I don't want to go off too hard, but something I did want to mention there on CRM.
Talk a little bit about this. A huge surge in 24% on the EPS number. Driven by $25 billion in share buybacks, man. That wasn't organic. Give me a break, man. Executed massive $25 billion accelerated share repurchase plan. It basically swallowing up 103 million shares right off the float to pump up that per share metrics. That's all fugazi, as the Katina men would say. $444 million Informatica subsidy, Informatica. So everyone was like, oh, they're growing their software demand organically. It's organic, they're everything. Yeah, okay. How about $9.6 billion acquisition of Informatica, which injected $444 million in inorganic sales? Because that's not organic. Last but not least, RPO. Mismatch here, so what basically they missed on RPO. So basically the street was looking for $34.5 billion in remaining performance obligations. They missed on that. 33.6. We know RPO is sort of, if you believe the number, a view into future revenue. And so those are the things that I didn't like, in addition to obviously the disruption coming from AI and all the things that we've been talking about ad nauseum on the show here for a while. I have to, before you give it to you, ASTC's halted up. I realize you guys have been talking about this for a while. Just can't interrupt people. 26:43 halt time. We're just going to load this up on a trading screen, Joey, just so we can get a gander here of what the halt time is. ASTC on the NQ. Halt time. 13:37:46. So the earliest this will be open, 13:42:46. The halt price, 26:43. Tap, 27.73, $1.25 and more above that level. Be on the lookout for this one. ASTC moving here, Joey. It was trading below VWAP. Halted up now 3 times in a row. This is ripping. Keep your eye out on this one.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say other than Agentforce isn't it right now. We've known that for quite some time. You're sitting on $28 billion in debt. Not good. That 10% share buyback program amounting to about $20 billion, as Shreve was mentioning. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know how much this is going to have an influence on Salesforce. As you can see, it's had pretty much none. But they're increasing their partnership with CVS. Isn't CVS a dump? Like, I don't know.
Improving a little bit. But
Yeah, you're right.
It's pretty much
they
like,
they had a headline this morning that they're going to start selling branded GLP-1s again. I guess they had stopped. I didn't even know they had stopped.
People in the States, let me know. I mean, if we're going to look at anything positive within that, maybe it would be the increase in that partnership. But what Mark's got going on, I'm starting to think this guy's a little bit delusional in some of his talks because it's just not making sense. The math isn't mathing and the stock isn't performing. He's talking about Agentforce growing at a substantial rate. He's signing new deals and partnerships. That doesn't seem to be the case. Because whatever he's got going on, the stock isn't performing well. And I mean, this guy's offering a dividend. He might have to reduce that or eliminate it at all costs and hold on to some of that cash because sitting on $28 billion in debt isn't good for this company. All right, Rob Demchak, this might be for you. Support and resistance for ASTC. Also, please update the resumption and imbalance. Thank you.
I did. Well, the imbalances are an entirely different thing, but we can look at the top here. This is what I was just giving you right there. 27.55 theoretical auction price, halt price 26.43. You're $1 above that and change right now. As I mentioned, the halt time 1:37.46. The earliest this one should have been open 1:42.46. We are past that time now. It is 1:43.46. So this one will be at least a 10-minute halt, meaning that it will, at the earliest, resume trading 1:47.46. We're going to keep an eye out on this one. Now, if you're asking support and resistance here, it's really hard to gauge off the halts because I'm assuming you're intraday trading this. You're not looking for a swing trade. You got halt at 24 right there. So if it loses 26 and loses 25, you're looking for a gap fill into 24. There's basically, let's bring in the top chart over here just before we send it back to CA. Here's the 5-minute as well. There is this area about $25 you want to say, but once you start halting like this, I got to tell you, the earlier support and resistance means a lot less. I would definitely keep an eye on the tape, keep an eye on the level 2, look for buyers to step in at key areas repetitively. What I mean by that, so say it pops off into 27.90, and it keeps dropping back down into 27.15, but there always seems to be a buyer in and around 15, maybe 8s, 20s, but there's a buyer in that area. Try to identify that. I would suggest using the 5-second chart to spot areas of support and resistance, because sometimes on the level 2, it just moves so quickly, you can't really get a gauge of it. So use the 5-second chart. I hope that helps, and thank you very much for the super chat. See ya.
We're talking about Synopsys. SNPS has delivered a solid quarter, reporting EPS of $3.35 versus $3.17 that was estimated. And currently, their revenue stands at $2.28 billion, which is surpassing expectations. But chart is not reacting well to this. The company continues, however, to benefit from AI-driven chip design demand. Why? Let me tell you, because hyperscalers and semiconductor firms are racing to build a next-generation compute infrastructure. But the reaction to this has been muted, like I mentioned, because expectations for semiconductor software names continue to be elevated after strong multi-month runs across the AI trade. Now, importantly, SNPS also remains tied to one of the cleaner AI infrastructure names, and this is all which is enabling chip development rather than just connecting it to the crowded model layer. But currently, SNPS is down 8, almost 9%. Some analyst commentary here again, maintained by Rosenblatt, equal weight by Wells Fargo, equal weight by Morgan Stanley, and that's about it. Sending it back.
35 million shares added to the pool. They diluted this one up to a storm. It was 156 million shares before the dilution, increasing it by 23% up to 192 million. That probably peeved off a lot of shareholders. There's also amortization hit. They got smashed with a $403 million quarterly charge simply. Get it, Katina, man. It was tied to one of their mergers lately. They had some debts on the balance sheet that they had to take care of. Also, their full year revenue guidance was raised was quietly cannibalized by what they're calling structural business shrinkage. Management had to subtract about basically $40 million off that forward look. Not a company I know too much about here, but some interesting fundamentals that I think we need to be concerned about, Joey.
Yeah, I mean, for some of the guidance here, looking at $9.6 billion to $9.7 billion, you're in non-operating GAAP margin of 41%. I think we're currently sitting at 39.5%, so that's a couple hundred basis points right there. But as soon as you dilute, then sure enough, this is what's going to happen to the stock.
Exactly.
Compared with Q1 of last year, I mean, not too bad, 2.4 billion to 2.46 billion on non-GAAP EPS, looking at around $3.63 and $3.
It's open. ASTC's open. It's ripping. It's going to halt up again. Unreal. Oh, man. Oh. False halt into 3082. Let's see if this one continues. Limit down now, 3080, 30. Yeah, let's see if this one holds up. Oh, it's going to limit down. Watch for the 28 loss there. Oh, boy. This one's dropping, Joey. Big move down, big topping tail candle right now on ASTC. Watch out. Careful with this one. Let's see if it pops back off. Current bar low is about 27.30. Getting bought up pretty aggressively into the 28s, but there's no continuation through into that 28 area. Current bar low, that's where we're going to end the trade there. Okay. I don't know why it's not stopping. We'll end the trade there on that one. Bit of a tough one there. Geez, Louise, that was pretty quick. Right in, right down. But there is support at 26.37. That's the prior halt area. It looks like there's somebody buying here at this level. Limit down. This is limit down. 25.99. Limit down right now on ASTC. Oh, that was a tough one. Thank God I took small shares. But yeah, that will put me negatory on the day today. That's all right. You win some, you lose some here. ASTC dropping bigly. What do we got next here?
Let's take a look at Dell next. And their Pentagon deal that just went through, Dell has moved higher after the Department of Defense awarded the company a roughly $9.7 billion 5-year enterprise software agreement, which is tied to Microsoft infrastructure and cloud services. Importantly, the contract is expected to save the government roughly $422 million annually through consolidated IT purchasing and licensing. Bigger market takeaway, I would say here, is that Dell is continuing to show to strengthen its role inside large-scale enterprise and AI infrastructure ecosystems, particularly its long-standing Microsoft relationship. But this also reinforces the broader narrative that Dell is evolving beyond PCs, also into strategic infrastructure and enterprise deployment layer. This story is proof of that. Dell currently up on the day by 6%. Adara, give us your take on Dell.
Earnings tonight, and I've kind of noticed a bit of a pattern, and this isn't 100%, but there's decent enough, I think, correlation here. So sometimes I find if a company announces some kind of headline, either like the day of or the day before earnings, it's maybe a sign things aren't going to go that well in their report. Now, to be fair, this announcement wasn't made by Dell themselves. It was made by the Pentagon. I do want to make that clear because I think that is a distinction. But I remember, I think this was like early 25, mid 24, you had situations with both Netflix and Disney. They announced some big announcement the day of or the morning of or the day before their report. And then, oh, surprise, there's some big issue with the earnings. So I think with Dell, I hope we don't have to worry about that. You are expecting revenue here of $35.46 billion, earnings of $2.91 per share. And President Trump loves this company. He has told people at least twice on record, go buy a Dell. Buy a Dell. We know that Michael Dell and his wife, Susan, have invested heavily in this Trump Accounts project, which also, more confluence, guys, the Trump Accounts app went live, or is going live tomorrow, I believe. Robinhood's Trump Accounts app went live today. So I think there's lots on watch here for Dell. We'll have to see how it all works out. But I think DELL, usually not disappointing on earnings. Let's see if that trend continues.
So this was interesting because that $9.7 billion software pie, it was kind of, I think, a little bit misread by the market. They're not keeping all that money, right? They're not going to be the main vendor here. That remains Microsoft, right? So Microsoft is going to be the one getting all the licensing deals and the fees and the royalties that come with that. And Softy's up 3.5% on that day. But to build on what Adara said, there is basically an undeniable connection between Michael Dell and the current administration. $6.25 billion donation to a Trump-backed charity investment fund by the Dells, Susan and Michael. So something to keep a lookout for there. Quite frankly, I like Dell more for the server business as a competitor to SMCI because I feel, despite the fact that some of the hyperscalers haven't, disavowed SMCI as a business partner, I think the majority of them are probably going to be looking to Dell anyway. So I like it from that angle. How about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, there's not much I can really say about this other than another government contract, and look at the stock going. Donald Trump speaks about it, and sure enough, he go on a big-time run. I wouldn't be surprised if this continues. And I mean, there it is, enterprise business working out for these guys, and sure enough, watch it climb another 30-40% in a short period of time. Look at Intel. Look what happened in Intel here, getting big-time deals. I don't think they would have, obviously, if Donald Trump didn't intervene, taking 10% stake, now pretty much forcing the hand of some of the other companies like Apple, whoever signed deals with them. So keep an eye on Dell to continue to climb here, guys.
Sorry about that. Let's take a look at our next story and our final story for the day. NIO, premium EV push colliding with China's price war. This is important. NIO has launched its new ES9 premium SUV after investors have responded positively to the company's push deeper into China's high-end EV segment. The ES9 starts around 390,000 yuan, which means it's roughly around $57,000 USD under NIO's battery subscription model. And this comes loaded with luxury and AI-assisted features that are aimed at differentiating the brand from lower-cost rivals. Now, this is just reports coming in. And what is China known for? China is known to be an aggressive, brutal environment for EV pricing. Now, that is the bigger issue where it lies, where aggressive discounting and slowing industry growth are crushing certain margins across the EV sector. Management is also emphasizing premium branding, safety, as well as ecosystem differentiation as technological advances from the other competitors and EV makers that are converging. Now, currently, NIO down on the day almost 3%.
It started well, but we know how these Chinese ADRs typically look. They gap down after opening pretty well. Or I'm just trying to find pictures of this thing, Assassino. Let's go over here. So this is what it looks like. I think it's decent. It reminds me a little bit of the Lucid Gravity, which I don't hate. It's a bit more boxy than the Gravity. I think the Gravity gives a more of an aerodynamic look, but it's the same kind of three-row SUV. It's very, very interesting for the Chinese market because they like to be driven around. So a lot of the luxury features that are put in these Chinese SUVs are put into the rear seats. They swivel, they've got fridges, they've got iPads and remotes, and hand gestures for the screen that drops down from the roof. So it's a fantastic car. Now, that's not what I want to touch on here. What I want to touch on is we're seeing a lot of these car companies, tech companies, want to develop their own silicon. We talked about Tesla and Terafab and SpaceX and XAI and how that all makes sense. Very little was said about NIO developing two self-developed 5-nanometer chips. So it's not the most advanced. We know Taiwan Semi is, mass producing 2 and trying to get into 1, Like
TXN world.
But it's more, yes, I'm not saying no, but what I'm trying to say is you're seeing a lot more of this vertically integrated push by the EV companies or tech companies in general, because what they want to do is they want to cut out the middleman and maintain their margins. And if they are paying big boy money to Intel, big boy money, it's like 489,000 yuan, about $70,000. If it was to sell across here, they'll probably be starting at 80 or 90, given the tariffs and the consumer that have to come in. This is a premium SUV, man. This here, if it was an American car or European at that, would be a 150 price tag, likely. Canadian, not US, obviously. But yeah, that's what I like about it. I do like that they're custom silicon developed. especially with, autonomous really being in focus and the importance of chips for autonomous driving. So,
do we know how NIO's presence in EU, in the European Union has been?
So what the European Union did was they took a bit of a different approach to how they tariff Chinese EVs.
Yeah.
They went on a company by company basis, and they're like, all right, we're going to assess you based on how much money you took from the Chinese government as a subsidy. The companies that took more are going to have a higher rate of tariff. The company that took least are going to have the lowest. BYD, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, has the lowest tariff. NIO is one of those higher to middle ones. We can double check with
hence
chat.
why you're seeing more BYD sales in EU, considering the cheaper tariff.
Yes, that's certainly one of the reasons. But obviously BYD is a lot bigger too, right? It's
bigger.
Just a monster company.
Well, they didn't need to. They didn't need to take large government grants, especially if you're on the race to the bottom with your competition. You have the ability to scale and sell a cheaper vehicle
and choke your competition, exactly.
And take less government grants. And sure enough, that's where you have the ability to dominate space. I don't think, I don't know. I don't know enough about these Chinese EVs. I understand that the country is absolutely massive from a population standpoint. Will they ever touch the shores here? I don't think so. Like NIO?
Yeah, brother, they're coming.
They're coming.
They're coming.
Here.
Remember 49,000 per year?
No, I'm sorry. I should have said. I should have been more clear. You're not going to see them in America most likely.
I think that's
and it's 49.
Sell,
and it's 49,000. So think about. So you just gave the example of what's happening in Europe. That's going to have to be divided, right, between all of the Chinese EV makers here, which only makes about 3% of the actual
exactly. And
vehicle
Tesla's going to take the majority of that. At least,
here?
Yes, because they're bringing Shanghai.
It's like
exactly.
So is that even really fair? Okay, life isn't fair.
Fair. It's just what's going to happen. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. But so it's like, okay, you're going to allow Chinese EVs, which there was a little bit of a fuss made about, but the majority are actually an American corporation.
Which is what I want to know. Is Tesla going to drop the price on some of these Chinese EVs? If we can show like bits and pieces of this Assassino so we just don't get dinged. But this is the interior. There's the back. Yeah. It's huge. It's a big car. It's a 3-row SUV. It's as premium as it gets. We know
luxury.
Chinese EVs just dominate American EVs. There's just no comparison between them. They are developing luxury options the Americans didn't even know existed or wanted. You probably can't buy that Katina, man. I'm assuming if you can, there's going to be very few of them. Because remember, Carney's objective is to bring in Chinese cheap EVs, not these premium EVs. See ya.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I don't know. Like, Adara and I were also just... Oh, no, I know, but we were also... I know this is much, much better than the Ferrari one at least, so I give it a thumbs up when it compares to that, but the Ferrari EV I saw yesterday, God.
I don't even want to think about that again. No one ever mentioned that Ferrari again. It's not even a Ferrari. But just Assassino, if I could show this, like, this is standard stuff, man. This is just this is a fridge right here. There's a ton of screens in the car. Like, it's next level stuff. We all know how the Chinese are doing these EVs, and it's
doing much better, man.
They're getting really good.
Just from a screen standpoint, from a spec standpoint, I think they're just leagues ahead, to be honest with you. These guys have iPads.
You missed it, man. You coming in too late, man. We were just talking about the new Neo. Did you see this? What is it called again? What, EV something or another? Hold on, Randy. It's called the ES9, starting at about 70,000 American. That's in yuan though, so 400, basically 500,000 yuan, right? Give or take. 5 rows, the full gauntlet. 3 rows. Pardon me.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
You gotta have cup
holders. Let me ask you this, Randy.
Go.
We're gonna talk American vehicles right now. We'll let him mic up. It's not a complex question. It might be a little bit of a silly one. All right, we ready for this?
I don't know. Are we on?
Ready? Okay. What am I picking here? Hellcat, Trackhawk, or Demon?
Ooh, Stellantis. What?
I know. Why is everything Stellantis?
Why, no, walk away.
No, yeah, even from the Trackhawk.
Like, I just. They're kind of dinosaurs. They're
they're
nice, but like
it's 0 to 60. Okay, fine. They're kind of a one-trick pony to me. They're a little lacking finesse.
Have you seen what they look like inside? Man?
Yeah, dude. They look like
it's like 100 years old.
Yeah.
The ZR1X is.
Dude, have you seen the Q3? What's up with Audi's interior? The Q3,
Yeah,
some of it
it's
is
pretty-
so garbage.
It's
It's like, what is
blingy,
this?
very
Yeah,
blingy.
it's so plain.
It's kind of animated.
Like, why aren't they playing like any form of catch up with BMW and Mercedes, where they have nice interior compared?
Heard it about BMW,
Have
bro.
you seen the interior of a Q3?
The rainbow
It's
LED
garbage.
colors.
The
and it's
X3
kind
is
of,
supposed to be really bad as well. Weren't people saying it was super plasticky
I'm
on
not
the inside?
I don't know. I've
say
stuck.
Trackhawk?
I like the leather, and then like Porsche's done some nice stuff. Volvo's done some nice stuff. It's a little gimmicky the way they're going with the LEDs and the screens, and it's like being in a movie theater almost. Lots of bright lights and flashing things, and
The
I
Chinese
just
love that.
I know, and
The
it's just,
Chinese love that.
It's a little too
You think it's too much?
over the top.
Yeah.
It's not so subtle.
Because there's a different fundamental use for these cars than we have here. Like, they love to get driven around. So I was saying before you came in, they put a lot of the luxury options in the back, in the rear seat.
Oh, like they like to sit in the back seat.
Yes.
They want to play games
driven
and
around.
play games and watch
Well, I
movies.
mean, I would
and
like that too.
It's a couch on wheels. It's your entertainment on wheels, right? It's not my neck of the woods. I like driving, but I to each their own.
Because you're a purist. You want the drive. You want the feel. I get that, right?
I need a car with some soul.
So you wouldn't cybercab in every day?
No.
Really?
No.
Cap.
No.
You're lying.
You have
No.
the biggest, you have the longest drive, I think, of anybody in
That's
the
what I'm
office. You would
asking.
definitely be
No.
using FSD.
100%.
That's cap.
100% not. No.
That is cap.
No, I enjoy my
Wow.
drive.
I believe that.
Actually, even in the core, like, so, okay, before you hit the highway, you wouldn't want to
No, I mean,
cybercab that?
it's stop and go traffic is pissing everybody off.
It's horrible.
Welcome to the big city. But
Especially on your way back, too, because then you hit traffic on the way back.
I come in
right?
really early in the morning. There's nobody on the road.
Someone brought up a good point. Remember the Escalade, the IQ or whatever it is
Yeah,
that I thought?
EQ,
That's
yeah.
EQ or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's a nice vehicle.
The
Beautiful.
inside,
But it's
the
like
new Escalade
it's like 170 grand.
Well, that's exactly it, man. That's exactly
Right,
it.
you
You're
know
bringing
what I
these Chinese EVs that are under $100,000, but with equal or better
The new
technology.
Escalade is unreal
It's
inside. I
very
was at the
nice.
outside of the auto
and
show.
the range is really good on that thing.
Yeah.
Remember Marquez did a bid on that?
I didn't
So-
actually see that video.
Jim scored a
he
home
did.
run with the Escalade. I love it.
Did, eh?
It's just unreal inside. It's a beautiful thing. It's a little large.
It's a little, well, yeah.
Huge.
I mean, it's an Escalade, right?
Yeah, it needs its own
Yeah,
zip
go with
code.
that.
Beautiful car, a little
Yeah.
too big for my
Big
liking, but
screen in the front,
it's
that
big.
contiguous screen in the
It's
front.
like an
right?
IMAX.
Like,
It's
yeah,
it's crazy.
The next generation is going to have it good because they're going to be able to cybercab everywhere and just hop
that's
in.
the future.
Going back to the Chinese EVs, though, they're going to
Yeah.
be here at some point. I think they're going to groom them for the North American market a little bit better. I think there's going to be some changes. There has to be.
But I also think they're going to introduce new tech. They have to be. You don't want to bring a carbon copy of what we're already selling
No.
here. You got to disrupt what we're doing here. So, and that's what they're kind of.
I think
doing over
price
there,
is
right?
already going to be disruptive.
We're ripping here.
But you
Go
got to have cup
Price
holders.
is already going to be disruptive.
Cup holders
I think,
are a
with some
necessity.
of these Chinese
Cup
EVs.
holders. All right. Look at that time there. Sia, you
Give
have
him a
something
lot
to
of-
say.
lot of
Go
time.
ahead.
Yeah, just quickly before we leave, I'm also really excited about the new EV launch for Alfa Romeo that's coming next year, the Giulia. I'm really excited for that. And then there's also like a Bentley EV SUV that's
No
coming
way.
next year. And it looks sick, actually. If I
Pull it
could
up.
show
You
it
can
on the
pull it up.
screen.
Pull it up.
Can
Pull
I?
it up, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. It's on my screen. That looks sick.
That's
Oh,
actually really
Yeah,
nice.
it's really
And
sick.
I
That's
can't.
a Bentley?
Yeah.
That's a
Like
prototype.
that looks really good. And then there's Audi coming too, the TT EV. So I'm excited, guys.
Pull it
These
up.
are my
Right.
favorite cars.
Okay, we got a super chat, Sharif. I know we're doing pure